Hi, everybody. How's it going? We're going to give a minute or two for a couple more people to come in who've been notified from the event. If you haven't hit interested on the events for these gnarly studio streams, please do because they recently got reset. So if you go up to the top of Midjourney here, you'll see 13. Yeah, okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, I think he's going to link it inside of VC text. So if you don't see the link, you just click the 13 events that are up here on the top. You can see it right here. And you'll see that there is plenty of events here on Midjourney to subscribe to. But you just you hit that interested button on the one that's live right now, and you'll be notified whenever we go live every Friday. Yeah, there you go. Thank you so much, Kinky, for linking that. Hope you guys are having a swell start to your weekend. Now that, at least here in the United States, it's the end of the week. I know a lot of folks have, at least in the West, are going to be celebrating Thanksgiving next week. So I have a couple fun ideas for this stream, but we're expecting that, next week will be a bit slower with the holiday and stuff. So I'm not planning on streaming, but we'll see kind of what happens, come next week when everyone's kind of doing something else probably. So we'll see how it goes. But thank you guys for coming today. We are we got a couple new characters to show off that you guys have been submitting to the character portal. So I do want to show that really quickly inside of the Gnarly Studios server. Good job, Kinky. Good, yes. But what is it? Inside of the Gnarly Studios server, you'll find a character portal, which is where everyone's been submitting their characters that they make here on the stream and just their OCs in general. So you're going to find a whole bunch of characters inside of here. And in a bit, there will be a link inside of VC text to join this server so that you can make characters and tell each other stories together. We got a couple new ones that we'll be going through today from y'all, and that should be fun. But just to kind of give you, if you're new here, I definitely don't want to kind of throw you into everything really quick. So let me first show you. We are currently on the stage here. I got to keep scrolling. Okay, so we're currently in the stage. Right above the stage is VC Create, and then above that is VC Text. VC Create is where we'll be prompting stuff together and where we can collab and make stuff and just generally work on each other's projects and stuff. But the cool thing is that with VC Text, everything you guys will be talking about here will show up on the stream. And that gets uploaded to my YouTube channel. I'm going to take advantage of the holiday to catch up on my upload schedule because I have completely neglected it over the last couple weeks. I apologize for that, but it's been kind of a wacky last month or so for me. So I'm happy to be getting back into things and everything feeling like normal again. So, howdy, how's it going? I troll for you. We also got a Lolo soon here. We have Nixie. We got Felix. Of course, we got Ancient and Kinky. We got Jay, who's here. Hey, Jay, how you doing? Of course, we got Rhapsody. And let's see, Curtin and Alara. And, oh, wow, we got some real fun folks here today. I think if it's okay with you, Alara, I might do a little bit with your OC just a bit today because I did a little bit of work on her last night, and I'm curious to see what the results are of that. So if you're cool with that, I will I'll deep dive. Feel free. I saw you earlier today. Great. Okay. Awesome. I'm your biggest fan. Oh, I I bet you are, Jay. Thank you so much. But I wanted to have a theme for today. If you don't have a character, feel free to grab one from the character portal. But if you do have one, today's theme is going to be feast to go with the holiday for next week. So what I'm thinking is that I want you guys to be prompting whatever your original character's favorite meal is. No, it'll not be their last meal. You can do that if you want, but what is it? Just make their favorite meal, and we're gonna try to shove it all onto one big dinner table. I think that's what we're gonna do, is try to get everybody having dinner together tonight. And we'll see how far we get in doing that. It's always a bit of a hit or miss when we start talking about crossing over art styles, because not everyone's characters are compatible with each other. So I wonder what my favorite meal is. Yeah, I wonder, Gompasta. I wonder with that emoji next to your name, let alone your name. But I'm actually kind of 50-50. Is it pizza or pasta? Damn it. But anyway. So at this point, I want to see what you guys make. So feel free to start prompting inside of VC Create here. The way I made that dinner table scene, by the way, was pretty easy. The only thing I did was, let me actually grab the prompt for it. I have it inside of my Midjourney account here. So let me grab, which result was it that I liked here? There's a lot of really funny ones because a lot of them end up with Victor laying on the table like he's the feast, and that's kind of silly. And I've been listening to a lot of Vocaloid music, and one of them is about cannibalism, which is hilarious. That this is all just kind of lining up for me. But anyway, moving on. Let's see which one I was gonna pull up here. There's a lot of funny ones where I'm the waiter, kind of serving food for you guys. Let's see, which one is good. Was it really one of the? Yes, it was one of the very first ones I prompted. Okay, so let me grab that really quick here. So if you do want to bring in a prompt that you have from either your Midjourney account or your Discord account, you can actually grab your job ID really easily, either with the envelope emoji on the prompt inside of Discord, or just by hitting the more button, then hitting copy, and then job ID on the actual job here. So the idea is that we would go into our Midjourney server, wherever we wanted to show off that prompt that we just made, and we are going to just type /show, and that will let us paste the job ID. And once that's pasted, you'll be able to prompt inside of that room. As long as there's a Midjourney bot on it, it will work. So there's what is it? In fact, Ancient just shared some relevant older images, and one of them is us eating burgers with Rhapsody staring it down. We're lewd hamburgers now. Yes, we're doing lewd hamburgers now. That's exactly what we were doing. And then the other image here is important business meeting. I remember this important business meeting that you guys had, and I was not a part of. But these are all representing real people, so that's fun. What is it? The button was indeed pressed a little soon. It's did you mean this button? Yes. Okay. Cool. So I do want to say that inside of the the Gnarly Studios server. In fact, let me open that up as a separate tab here so I don't keep jumping back and forth on you guys really quick. Let me grab that here. Just a moment. And character portal, copy link. Okay. So, I got to do this thing. Hold on. It's making me do the stupid login with my authenticator thing. So, don't want you guys seeing that. Oh, come on. Just a moment. Sorry, guys. It's making me reset it. There you go. 281. Okay. And then I have to not speak it. I'm one of those people that like speaks their password and stuff like when they're typing it. So like I kind of forget about that when I'm streaming. Like, oh yeah, no one should know what my key is. Okay. All right, let me just close this. Hide servers. Okay. All right. So inside the character portal, I wanted to show you guys that we have a couple updates to Ancient. Actually, we were kind of messing around with the idea of the banhammer being like a literal thing, right? And I realized that this actually makes a really fun C-ref. By the way, so like what I did is I added it to his his existing CRF and was making all sorts of real fun little stuff using Lolo Soon's style reference and combining those. So that's all inside of the Blue Lodge, I believe, or is it the White Lodge? I forgot which one. But we had some fun working with that, and I'm just gonna grab that really quick. Here it is, yeah. So here's that, and we can simply prompt with Ancient here using character referencing. So if you're not familiar with character referencing, it is a very easy way to bring in a character that you have as just like a single image or multiple images on your Midjourney account. It's very easy. You just have a bunch of links and then it'll work. But we can go from there to really start to hone in and control the result that we get from it. So let's first see what just the default result of this is, like default as in like a very simple prompt, and then see what the character reference does. So let's just say he's at the dinner table. And then hyphen CREF. I'll zoom in for you guys so it's a little, you can see a little easier. And then after you type hyphen CREF, you can just paste your links of that is your character. Ooh, my throat's a little off today. Sorry about that. You can just paste the links of your character. They don't have to be perfect, but it really helps to get them as close as possible, as well as having plenty of diversity in your results. They're going to help out a lot. Oh, hey Lex, it's good to see you. Thank you for joining. Happy Friday. Yes, indeed. But we made Ancient in Niji, so we're going to use Niji again to do this. If you're not familiar, I'm going to be saying not familiar a lot because I want to make sure that everyone's caught up here at what we do. So Niji is an anime-only data set that is like separate from the main Midjourney account. You have access to it if you have a Midjourney account. So you just add hyphen Niji 6 to the end of your prompt to use it. You can also get most of these settings automatically turned on for you just by hitting /settings and then seeing what your defaults are. So you can switch your default to Midjourney, Niji, older versions of Midjourney, all that kind of stuff. It's all right here in your /settings. But for now, we're going to be just typing everything because that's what we're used to doing here. So let's see. Where is Ancient? There he is. Okay. At the dinner table, CREF. So let's take a look at what this result was here. So again, another result where he's just kind of laying on the table. This is a very common kind of thing that happens with this prompt in particular. For some reason, the Thanksgiving dinner data set, or like just the knowledge of this, has a lot of top-down views. So it puts the characters kind of like they're the turkey. So if you want your character to turn into the turkey of turkey dinner, then just prompt for at the dinner table. But there we go. So for Ancient here, ooh, look at this. Alara is already going ham with their OC here. We'll be focusing on Alara's character here in a moment. You guys can see what I did with her here in a bit. But I want to start with Ancient here, and he doesn't look too happy with this steak. Let's give him a meal that he's actually going to appreciate here. So, Ancient, what is your ideal meal? You're welcome to prompt it yourself and just put it in there. But I'm curious, what's your preferred dish? Nice. Nice. So let's see what Midjourney interprets fine Italian dining as. we'll go from there. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight over would vary region. We are going to highlight over the dinner plate and we'll give it a little bit of height, just a little bit of extra that's there. And if we include the CRF, it's probably going to do some really funny stuff, like include like little miniature versions of your character inside the plate. So unless you want to eat tiny versions of yourself, there are people that are into that. You're welcome to just keep your CRF, but you're going to take it out for now. And we're going to say fine Italian dining. And I'm going to capitalize Italian because it wants me to. Fine Italian dining. And then we'll hit OK on that. If you don't get a very pleasant looking meal, you can also actively switch between versions of Midjourney while you're in very region, which is very, very useful when you get into like weird anatomies that like maybe Niji doesn't understand, or maybe the base version of Midjourney doesn't understand. It's really handy to just type or just to replace Niji 6 with version 6.1. Now, technically, that's only you're using version 6, but that's getting into the weeds of things here. It's right now, I think in painting and certain things are limiting to version 6 rather than the new version 6.1. So let's see what Fine Italian Dining did with Niji, and then let's see what it did with version 6.1. All right, so with Niji, it actually made it look really good. I mean, I don't know what it is exactly, but it is certainly Italian-esque. It's got some noodles, it's got some red and some greenery on it. So I'm going to say the first one is probably pretty decent, but I'm going to let you guys kind of, especially Ancient, kind of guide the results of that one. But now I want to see what version 6.1 did. It made it just like one of them is a coffee, which would have been like my family. My family is like notorious, like skip a meal, have a coffee kind of thing. Not for Thanksgiving, but yeah, they are very, very skimpy eaters. But otherwise it's like a bowl of water, which is kind of funny for a cat boy. And yeah, I'm just got an empty plate. So there you go. Fine Italian dining during the famine or whatever. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what you guys are saying inside of the text chat here. So let's see. It's very region, also part of the editor. I mean, it's also in beta. The editor is an upgraded replacement to the very region on web. Yeah, that's right. So the new editor that they're talking about, by the way, you can find it by hitting edit here on your Midjourney account, like on the actual website. You may not have access to it yet. Not everyone does. And it has a lot of neat perks, particularly being able to customize the cropping and then the more painterly tools that are inside of it to just hone in your exact request for Midjourney is huge. But the biggest thing for me has been using alpha channels of pre-existing images inside the editor, which I'll show off here in a little while because we had some fun doing that over the week. So let's see here. Niji likes to make lots of bread rolls and cakes if you just say food. Good to know. Yeah. I'm kind of curious because you get like the median of the concept of food, right? If you type that. So I think that's a pretty fun, like, kind of exploration in itself. It's just to see what Midjourney considers food. But I do have a fun one here that I'm also going to link. So I will use copy and then job ID for this. And by the way, I will be going through everything you guys make, both after the stream and during the stream. But the idea is that we get a couple things out, and then I spend some time to scroll through back and check out everything you guys are doing, including all this cute pizza time. I really do like checking out the results as they come in, but it is hard to kind of do both. So I will be scrolling back on all the results, and then we'll start remixing those results and making cool things out of them. But I'm going to show you guys this really quick, which is a retexture that I did with the new editor. Is it good? No, it's not going to allow me to show that. That's right. So what I need to do is I need to copy it. I'm just going to copy it so you guys have it I'm going to paste it. Let's paste it in VC text so that you guys just have it here for now. This is actually a retexture of a current new meme template, by the way. I'm going to open it up here for you guys. This is the new meme template that I have made into a Victor version of it, as in it's with a black serving dish and stuff. The original meme is just a waiter with a white background, but using the new retexture function, which I will open up here for you guys to see, we'll go to view all, and then I'll hop into here, and then here's the original meme. Okay. And then what I did is I used Victor as the prompt, as a character reference, and then only added the word server to it. Now we can't use Niji on the retexture at this time. So instead, the results are all going to be with version 6. So if you look at this, though, I was really impressed with what it did to make it more Victor-esque in that, especially this last result here. It would be a really funny meme to use to be like, like now serving your bowl, like, whatever, like your your crap or whatever. But which, by the way, as Ancient typed it out here, I didn't want to be the one who kind of broke the announcement on that, because I know David did over on Wednesday. But there is a Niji retexture in the works. So for all the fun that we're able to have with version 6 with the retexture, actually getting like anime dataset knowledge inside of the retexture will be huge for particularly the Sage comics, because it means that we'll be able to very easily adapt existing memes and poses and characters into our comics. So if we want to make a parody, for example, it'll be so much easier with the retexture to make a parody, just like I did with this here. We started off with this and we ended with this, with just a single prompt. It's amazing. So it's a lot of fun, but I want to see. Wait, you're doing a delivery? Queen Lux's Catboy Ancient on a Vespa at an Italian countryside holding a pizza box. Ooh, that's cute. That is really cute, actually. Nice. It's Phantasmus. Oh my God, it's Phantasmus. This is great. And so if you notice, whenever you're prompting with character referencing, this is gonna happen a ton. You're gonna get multiple copies of the same character, kind of like they're all clones having a dinner together. This is good because it means you can pick your favorite to be yours and then start in-painting the other characters in it to match. So like ideally you want characters that somewhat match an art style, because there's going to be some weird clashes and limits because of that. Did you fruit ninja? You're fruit ninjing with Akira? That's great. Akita, or I forget. Yeah, I think it's Akita. But this is okay. Now this is cute. This is Queen Lux's messing around with the I forgot her name now, but this is super cute to have your characters already sitting by each other. Crossovers are the most exciting part about Midjourney, in my opinion, right now, because it means that we can start to tell stories with each other. It's Enid's character. Oh, thank you so much for letting me know. So with Enid's character, that's the pink one here. That's really cute. But what we're gonna do now is start to expand on one of these results and be able to basically like have a big dinner together. Yes. Anytime you guys can make Victor's mouth more screwed up, the better. I appreciate that for sure. This is all really cute. Awesome work, guys. Okay, cool. So at this point, I'm just going to kind of scroll through these for a moment here. In fact, I'm going to let this roll. I'm going to let this roll for a moment, and we're going to take a look back at what you guys have done for the last couple minutes. And then I'll hop back and start prompting off of one of them. Most likely we will start off with Alara's character, because I did do some work and I want to kind of go over that work because there's probably a handful of new people here that are like, I don't even have a character. What are you guys doing? How are you guys doing all this crap? That's why I want to go through Alara first, just because I feel like that getting started with her character will be easy, and it also demonstrates kind of how more straightforward it is to do stuff with the new editor, and sorry, not the new editor, but with the website, because the website has it's a bit nicer to organize for particularly the use of image weights. So we'll go through that here in a bit, but we're gonna cycle through everything you guys have done here inside of VC Create. And then I'll just comment on my favorite ones here. You got Zero's characters here who are adorable, and I love how like strict that art style you got out of this is. It's even with different like kind of tones, it's still super recognizable who your characters are. So that's awesome. Yeah, these are all super good. I'm really digging most of these. And of course, chickens. If Rhapsody's in the room, there's going to be chickens. That's for sure. I mean, she does run the birdhouse, the bird lodge. I have a various different lodges inside of my server. Yeah. She's giving me a stink face for this now. Annoyed, yes, indeed. But I have various different lodges. A lot of them are actually private. They are for individuals who are wanting to learn Midjourney, but maybe are in a more professional space, and they just want more like one-on-one time and whatnot. That a lot of the time the lodges are there for like educational purposes, but we do have a couple of public lodges inside of the Gnarly Studios server. And what I mean by a lodge is just it's a channel 100% dedicated to prompting in. So if you look up here, we have the Green Lodge, the White Lodge, Black Lodge, Red Lodge, and Blue Lodge. It's all themed based on like the various different, so like Green Lodge is fantasy, White Lodge is slice of life. The Black Lodge is for dark, spooky, and actiony, kind of more violent stuff. Red Lodge is for Western slash a little bit of pop art also shows up in there. Also movies, just generally movies, or just movies in general. So like live action stuff usually gets prompted inside of Red Lodge, and the Blue Lodge is all sci-fi, even though we have a couple fantasy things in there right now. We're just organized. It's just a suggestion. It's not something that we enforce, but it is something that lets us start to experience at least different sort of themes for our characters to inhabit. So if you don't have a character, go ahead and grab one off the character portal inside the Gnarly Studios server and start messing with them on VC Create, and we can see what all sort of shenanigans you guys get up to. It's I don't like the character's name. I'll be honest. I don't like that his name is Shart. I don't, but there he is. And then we have Zero's character, a couple other characters from Rhapsody here too. That's awesome. And what is it? And then of course we have Lolo Soon's Chibi, and Chibi is adorable. Chibi's super fun. I really want to expand on an entire basically get Lolo Soon and I to make like Chibi comics for a while so that we can get those popular on Reddit. I just think that she has some potential there, particularly for making relatable slice of life comics. Yeah, what? Yeah, that's what I want to do. But yeah, we got to make some more comics, man. You made some fun ones already. You got to get you making more of them. All right. Yeah. Like particularly the, what is it? The one where she's like tripping on the rock and stuff like that. That was really cute. So we got to make more of them. Okay. All right, so what I'm going to do is I think we're going to start with Alara here. So we're going to scroll all the way down to all the shenanigans you guys are up to so that this stays current. I will be reading all of them. Yes, please do. Yeah, please. What does it read? Lolo Soon actually has a Facebook page where you can check out all of their comics that they've made so far. And I don't know if it can be linked here, but it's on our server, so feel free to check it out when able. But what we're going to do now, yes, I'm old. I'm on Facebook. It's all good, sir. I'm so old I deleted my Facebook. There you go. Okay, all right. So at this point, what I'm going to do is open up the character portal here and show off Alara's submission. So this is her OC. That's why I actually asked permission before posting, because I know that you guys, I don't force myself to do this with everybody. But whenever it comes to OCs in general, I try to get as much involvement from you guys as possible. And since this is someone representing them, I wanted to make sure that it was cool for me to do what I'm doing here. So they've already submitted a character reference. You can see that it's all this that's here, and they have a prompt for the character. And this is, it's Rhapsody calls them spells. I generally just stick to the idea that these are like the foundations of the character. Sometimes you need to include words, sometimes you don't. But usually the more farther, or just the farther away you go from a humanoid sort of character, the more likely you're going to have to include these like mandatory words, basically. And what my initial goal was to remove as many of these words as possible to retain the character design, and essentially just fiddling around with the images that she's provided here. And she goes through and explains a bit about herself here when it comes to like, the testing of different image weights and all that. Just you're welcome to kind of dig into her submission here to kind of see what her process has been for Alara here. But what I'm going to do is actually open up Photoshop, because that's where I do most of my stuff. Oops, I opened Premiere. Just a moment. I got to make sure Premiere closes before I do this, because otherwise it's everything's going to lag. Everything's going to lag. Get out of here, Premiere. Okay, cool. So I have Alara saved here. Okay. So I did end up getting rid of one of the images from the character reference just because I felt like it was a little redundant from the others that are already here. So let me open that up now. Tablet. There we go. Hi. Okay. All right, so this is Photoshop. If you're not familiar with Photoshop, you don't have to use Photoshop, but it is something that I recommend getting some time in, because not only are there new generative tools inside of Photoshop that make this super, super easy to do, but also it's just a core graphic arts skill to have Photoshop experience, and most of the tools that are inside of Photoshop translate to all the alternatives that are kind of booming right now. So there's also a list of open source alternatives that you can get on GitHub for every Adobe alternative. Basically, they're really blowing up in popularity right now. So it's a good idea to just get some graphic design experience and learn really what it takes to do this stuff, because what we're going to do is basically take the raw images that Alara had provided inside of her character portal entry here, and we are going to make them into more consistent and even, just basically just round it out all around to where the character is, where every image that's provided is unique and serves a purpose, but also is consistent. And that's the balance that you have to strike here. So let's go ahead and open that up and take a closer look at what I've already done. Let's see. Fan tablet. Okay. So she came with 10 images, and I reduced it to 9. This is the one I took out. And like I said, the reason I did that was because this image here is it's very similar to this one, but it just includes a lot more shading and it basically saying like I really didn't think we needed it. I think we're good with the rest of these here. So for now, I will just mute this one, and stick to this here. And so the first thing I did was focus on her shirt. The shirt itself has this like this cat design on the front of it. And on some of the original results here, which I really should have them side by side so that you guys can see. But I'll just open them up individually so that you guys can see. I've saved every image as a smart object. So what you do is you just click on any of these that like just any image, then right click and hit create or convert to smart object. And once you convert to smart object, as long as you haven't rescaled the image at all, right? It's just in your canvas. You can then hit edit contents. And that way, if you make any changes inside of Midjourney, it's just a copy and paste to update this smart object. It makes it a million times easier to go through your iterations in the past and to clean them up. Okay. And there will be one consistency change that we'll be making on the stream here today, so that you guys can see what that process looks like. But now that we have this as a smart object, that means that I can hop back here and take a look at like like everything I've done in the past, and it's saved. So I can hit edit contents on this one here. And this one was pretty straightforward. The only thing I did was I cleaned up the background. And it's not a perfectly clean mask either. Like there's a little bit, some ruffled edges here and there. But if we go to one that I did a little more work on, I think this one here, and again, hit edit contents of this, you can see that I have a layer that's in this one here. And that layer was just to change the design that's on her shirt from red to white. That one little consistency change is going to help out a lot, because sometimes she was getting red shirt, like red emblems on her design, like on her shirt. Sometimes it was white. So we want to find what's causing these inconsistencies and then fix them. So, okay, we have that. And we haven't even added eyes to the cat yet to match the others. We're only basically taking out everything that's wrong with it. So let me see. Was there another one where I did a kind of a big overhaul on that? Let's see. I didn't really have to do a lot on the character. I think I did some work on this one. So let's see. Edit. Yes. Okay. So this one was a couple more pieces that I had to do. So let's turn that all off so you guys can see. So you see she had a red paw print design here. She had a little, oh yes, the collar here. Yeah. So sometimes she has a like this the bell collar, and sometimes she doesn't. So the only thing I did is I made that a smart object in itself. So I basically just made this an object that I can then place onto her wherever she needs to have that bell, and that way the bell is on every one of the images, and that makes it far more consistent for that. But there is one major consistency change that we will need to make, and it has to do with the red bow that is on her collar here. It is very, very cute, but I've noticed that depending on the angle of the bow, you get some really weird misunderstandings of what kind of like what's around her neck, and sometimes it doesn't even see anything around her neck because of this bow. So my recommendation is, as long as Alara is cool with it, I was going to just remove the bow on the stream here so that you guys can see the benefits of having all these be consistent. And you could see the bow changes drastically in scale across all the images here. Sometimes it takes up the entire width of her neck. Sometimes it is just this little thing that sits in between. So it's like half the size on this image here, for example. Okay. So to the easiest way to fix any of this stuff, guys, is just to get rid of it. Just that there's no shame in it. In fact, if you really want to make this character super, super consistent, just get rid of the shirt design entirely and then add that later. Like basically prompt it with a very region cat emblem or cat logo, and then include a image reference for that cat logo every time, because that way the cat logo will deform to the shape of her chest rather than the other way around. It's a other way around. Yes, it is important to recognize that what you're asking Midjourney to do is oftentimes easier with a simpler design. Okay, so we'll start with the collar. Yeah, I tried to say it that way, Rhapsody, and it just came out really wrong in my mouth. How can I create an image reference, and what is that used for? Yeah, sure. So essentially what we're doing here is we're creating many image references. We're creating character references, right? But if we want to reference a specific composition or pose or like a certain shape, then we want to make an image reference. And an image reference is very easy to do. We just marquee an area inside of Photoshop. You can use the snipping tool, whatever you want to do for that. But let's just say we want to image reference this cat. Okay. So then we'll copy this. We have to make sure we're on the right layer. Copy this. And now I will bring this over to Midjourney here. And only thing I'm going to do to make this an image weight is just paste the image inside of Discord. Okay. So, okay, by the way, these sort of flat, sort of last, the Last Supper sort of like, please don't make me Jesus. Please don't. I've had somebody do that before. It was very awkward and weird for me. Don't do that. You're welcome to make anybody else. That's fine. But yes, just the Last Supper composition is great for making this sort of everyone's at the dinner table sort of look. But I would like to not be the one in the center. Okay, you guys can make anybody else in the center. It's fine. But yeah, let's move on from that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this image of this cat that we've pasted into Discord, which now gives us a link to just the cat. Yeah, put Legal Beagle in center. That's appropriate. But we're gonna take this link of this cat, and now we're going to hit /imagine, and then just paste the link. Okay, you're gonna need more than that. Midjourney needs a midpoint between two ideas or two concepts or two images in order to give you a result. So let's just say that this is a cat logo. Okay, and we can even add parameters on top to really enforce that we want to make this image look like how this basically to look like our image weight here. So we are gonna our image prompt. We're gonna use --IW. And then type anywhere between 0.1 and 3 in order to set a value for the image weight. We're going to set this to 2.5 just so we give a little bit of freedom for Midjourney to make corrections or change this logo around. But ideally, I just want a cat logo that's heavily inspired based on this image here. And that's all we need to do. The JDRS had linked the official Midjourney wiki inside of VC text here, so that you guys can read all the wiki goodness from that. And if you look here, the immediate result we get here is that we have the cat logo now, somewhat materialized for us with Midjourney here. With a higher number, it gets more and more strict to look like the image, even if it's pixelated or blurry or anything like that. That's the main negative of using an extremely high image weight, is that it's very faithful to the image. So if you need basically to refine the image, you may not want to have a high image weight on there. Well, that's all up to your own experimentation, okay? So that's what I meant by image weight. Basically, we can sample the logo at any time in order to replace it on the shirt rather than relying on it as part of the character's design. It also doesn't help that in Alara's in her character design, she has a cat face with a cat logo. So it oftentimes wanted to only include one face on the character. So most likely that means that we're going to end up getting rid of it just because of that sort of like inconsistency. It usually wants to keep one face on the character. But we're going to focus on the bow first and go from there. So there's a couple of neat little tools too inside of Photoshop too that now lets us do image referencing. So I'm going to image reference another result that I got working off of these initial images, because you don't need to have your images perfect. You really don't. In fact, Midjourney is going to do plenty of interpretation that even if you have perfect image references, perfect character references, Midjourney's still going to find a way to make them wacky, to make them look a little silly sometimes. So, if you're a perfectionist, you're going to hate me for this, but or just get frustrated with this process. But the reality is that you're working with a bit of an RNG machine here. So you're going to have to cycle and reroll stuff in order to get exactly what you're looking for. But we're trying to cut down the number of times you have to do that by doing these steps here. So what I'm going to do is load up from our character portal here. I have a couple of submissions that I've already put in. Let's see here. Switch this up to here. Okay. So if I now jump over to I believe it was the White Lodge where I prompted all this stuff. Yes. Okay. So you can see I was doing some running tests and trying to get her to have different expressions and stuff on here. So I have 2 results that I made by using the prompt multiple expressions depicting a female anthropomorphic cat. That's how much I've lowered the prompt to just by making those couple corrections that I had already made inside of the character reference. So let's go ahead and open that up here. So this is the first result that I was really happy with. We got 3 different expressions. Kind of a closed mouth, a big old happy smile, and a little bit of a doughy what's happening kind of face. And then in the other result here, we got a face of like anger and bewilderment a bit. Yeah, we have some options here now, which is great. But there is an inconsistency that's in here as well, which is her hair flip. This normally is supposed to be like this red flip inside of her hair, while this one has it. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this one as an image reference in order to put the hair flip into the other one. So it should be pretty fun to show you guys how to do this inside of a different program. Just for a minute, I promise we'll get right back to Midjourney after this, but I want to make sure these expressions are inside of her character sheet, which is what we're building right now. Right, meow. Sorry, I couldn't help myself on that. But what we're going to do is open up a tablet. And we have all these images already separated inside of Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to extend the canvas upward here. And I'm going to paste both of these results that I had made using the multiple expressions prompt. And we'll paste this into here. But if you can't open the door so your cat can join in, I hope I believe my partner fed my cat right before she left for work. So I don't think we'll be hearing a screaming cat today. She is 20 years old and lets everyone know it every time or every day. So, but what I'm going to focus on here now is just to try to bring some of the details that we have now from this image into the others here, particularly the fact that the collar doesn't have the bow in it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am actually going to reference only this segment of her shirt here. Let's just do this here. Okay, and then I'm going to hit copy and I'll paste that nearby. Okay. And the reason I'm doing this is because we're going to say to Photoshop, hey, I want you to reference this image. I want you to use this image here in order to replace it onto the rest of them here. So first thing we do is I'm going to make this a smart object, and then I'm going to hit edit and then export that as an image. So let's hit export and we'll call this Alara neck reference. Okay, so at this point, I can go back into any one of these results that we had here. Let's start with this first one here. And I am going to use an image reference on her neck right here. So we want to just select everything that we are trying to change, which is going to be the big bow that's here. And this is something that I've noticed that a lot of people get wrong about doing in painting, whether it's Photoshop, whether it's Midjourney. If you do not select the shadows correctly, you are going to generate something you don't want, okay? So for example, I'm getting rid of this bow right now, okay? Then that means that I need to make sure that all the shadow that the bow creates is also selected. And right now it is not all selected. This little peety bump that's right here that juts out the shadow from this way will affect the result because it has to justify everything that it sees. So we want to make sure we are a little generous with our selection and that we make sure that we highlight every shadow that is casted by the thing that we want to get rid of, because that is going to make a huge difference for you later, okay? Even when it comes to like some of like the sort of dark shading that can happen near strokes and stuff, we want to get rid of all that, okay? So now that we have this selected here, you can do this inside of Midjourney's Vary region as well, but I want to show you guys how I do it in Photoshop. So we're going to have the selection here. I'm going to hit Generative Fill, and then I'm going to hit this button. This is a relatively new button in Photoshop. It's been there for a couple months now, but it's a lot newer than a lot of the other stuff. So we will now use this as an image reference. Okay, it's going to ask me legally, like, do you own this image? I'm like, it's a generated image. Sure, I do. Sure, why not? And now, without typing anything at all, I will just use the image reference and then hit generate. If you type anything at all into Photoshop, it will come out most likely like garbage. Photoshop relies entirely on a data set of like, and there's a good chance this is not going to work either, guys. But there's a lot of weird stuff inside of like the actual like verbal knowledge of Photoshop beta. So instead, I rely a lot more on just image prompting by itself. So let's see here. Okay, so it was able to understand the basic shape of things. It tried to make a collar in there, but it didn't understand what we want to do exactly. So let's now that we have an image prompt in there, I'm going to say red collar, and then we'll go from there. The thing is that it's basically like it's the opposite logic from Midjourney. Like I want to use this like as little description as possible in Photoshop because I don't want a ton of reference from Photoshop's library. While in Midjourney's library, it's great. So look at this. Okay. So this one used the image reference pretty well, but it's super flat and not realistically rendered. This one is far better rendered. I like this one a lot more. And now I'm going to take advantage of the no prompt method. So I'm just going to highlight what I don't like about this thing here, okay? And then I'll hit Gen Fill without writing anything at all. It's probably just the fact that I used an image weight there or just an image reference that heavily skewed it to be weird. But it is so freaking useful to clean things up like this, just to highlight over and be like, nah, this is wrong. This part's wrong. Let's try a couple other options on there. And you can basically just with Gen Fill create entire works doing that. So I'm just going to keep this reference here. Let's go with that. That one looks pretty good. I'll just check the last one. Yeah, that one looks pretty good though. We might want to fix the actual bell that's here. I'm curious if this will just delete. Actually, we can just keep a sliver of that here and then hit Gen Fill on this and see if that actually fixes the bell at all. And then we just move on to the next image. And then by the time we're done here, we should have a far more consistent character design that's here. So you can see it didn't really come out there. So let's go ahead and drop that image weight on there. And we can even describe it as a bell if we need to. But I think for now, we're just gonna see what it does with the image weight. I'm tweeny. Oops, cell phone figure slipped on a sticker. Oop. All right, let's check. Oop, I clicked on something by accident. Hold on, sorry. And all right, we didn't get a bell there. So let's just write this as bell. I doubt this is going to work, so we're just going to move on after this one. But I mostly wanted to show you guys the power of not writing anything at all to like clean things up. But we'll see what this does here. No, it kind of did it here. So at this point, I'm just going to bring out my pen tool because I'm one of those people that actually knows how to draw. Right. So like when I will just give up when it comes to making the thing that I want. When it comes to just I know I can just draw a line in there. Oh, yeah. Just draw it. Just draw it. There's no shame in that. Why would there be any shame? You should be drawing. You should be learning how to draw. It doesn't matter that generative technology exists. Drawing makes your generative technology and makes it so much better. So there you go. We have a little bell that's on her neck collar now. I'm going to hit save. Okay. And now we can go back and see that it has updated the smart object for that specific image. And now we just move on to the next one. And I will do a lot less explaining to get through the next one. So it'll go a lot faster, I promise. But we're going to just go ahead and start repeating that process here just to fix her collar up. So let's go with collar. This is without using any image weights. So we'll see what this do. Yes, it is indeed time for a speed run. You could see that with just writing collar, it kind of inferred that we wanted a red collar because the rest of the image would complement to have a red collar. It's one of the reasons that Midjourney probably gave us a red collar at the start, because it was like, ooh, look at all the red hair. That would be cute. And it's kind of like a cute check. Midjourney does by default. So, but what we're going to do here is just kind of go through here and see. This one's actually pretty decent right off the bat. So I'm going to come in and select what's a little bit wonky about it. So let's select this. And then we'll use an image weight and we'll see if this works here. So We'll hit generate here. I hope you guys are having a great Friday. I'll hop over to the chat here while I'm working. And that way we get to see what you guys are saying. Gotta go fast, Rhapsody. Yeah, I know, right? It's time for a speed run, and I'm pausing just to see what you guys are typing here. But if it's possible, I'll try to combine these two here. Let me try to do this really quick. Come into my tablet, grab my tablet, copy it. Because I want to be able to see what you guys are chatting about at the same time. So I'll come in and go to the stage here and then open that up and find out where PC Create is. Okay. Is this what it is? Yep. Okay, cool. And I'll paste this on top. Aha. And now I have to get this onto the right layer. Boop. Okay. And shrinky dink. At least you guys can see what I'm doing. You won't be able to see my layers, but that's fine. Whatever. At least you guys can see what I'm doing. Okay, cool. So let's go ahead and see what that image weight did. It added a little bit of highlight there. That's pretty decent, but I want to keep this one, I think. Because it's better than the original, right? Yeah. Maybe. You know what? I'm actually just going to rely on the original here. So I'm going to come into here. We'll get rid of what we don't need, which for now is just going to be any extras. There is a golden buckle that is behind this thing, but I think for the profile view, we'll be okay without having that there. So without any prompt, just highlight select kind of cleans things up for us automatically. It's amazing. And you know, the bell is kind of off center here. So I'm going to try to use an image weight on this one and see if we can get away with that without drawing it. And then image reference, bell, and then generate. Yeah, looks like it just kind of went ham on that. So let's go ahead and just highlight what's not right about the bell. Don't write anything for the prompt here. And then we'll just draw it because we have the ability, so why not? Why did it fix so much area? Hold on. I only told it to do this area. So let's get our marquee a little closer in here. And then also include a little bit of this loop that's here. I don't really like that loop. And if we need to, we can actually manually contract or expand the marquee by pixel rather than just re-highlighting it again and again and again. So let's just see what we got here. I'm going to use the image weight again because I think that it's helping us at least establish that it's a golden ball. So I'm going to use that. Right now, it kind of looks like crumpled foil. Okay. Huh. Still a little wonky looking. Let's go ahead and grab a little more of this. I know I'm doing this a little bit of a silly way. I could just also copy the actual bell that I had, copied it from earlier and pasted that, but then it's going to be slightly off center, at least from its perspective. Yeah, I'm not liking how any of these are coming out, guys. So I'm going to get rid of this, get rid of this. You know what? I think I'm just going to have to go traditional on this, guys. I'm just gonna bring out the stamp tool here, reference something nearby, and hit all layers, and then we're just going to reference this really quick, or reference what's nearby in order to start to rebuild this sort of shape here. I do, like I said, I already have one of these done, but I want to show you guys different ways to do things in Photoshop really quick. So now that I have just generally that color there, I can highlight a lot less space to effectively do the same thing. So let's go ahead and do this. And I'm going to write golden ball. And then I'm just going to redraw the actual bell at the correct angle. Okay, that should be good. That should be fine. And now I'll just add another layer. And we want to make sure there's a little bit of rim on there. Rim is the just like the edge of things, right? You have rim light, like for most of the characters you guys are going to be generating have some amount of rim light, just a little bit of light that's on the edges of things. But we want to add a little bit of this gold on the edge here to be the rim because we want to make sure that it still understands that this is a ball, that this is a bell. So to do that, we just basically leave a little bit of that edge as gold, and that should be good. That should be the bell. All right, sweet. We'll save that. Move to the next one. Thank you guys so much for joining here today. We got 50 people here. That's awesome. Especially after our event had with that Discord bug. It's been really great to have the regulars here hanging out and chatting with us today. Thank you guys so much for joining. I would love to see what you guys are making inside of VC Create. So right now, what I've asked you guys to do is to prompt whatever your character's favorite meal is, and to start setting that up here. I wonder if Rhapsody's done the fish on a stick for Rio yet, but it is certainly true that I want you guys to explore your character's favorite meals. Nope, you didn't do it yet. Yeah, didn't do it. It would be kind of funny to have her really upset that someone took the last fish on a stick, for example. But I want to see what you guys are doing, and it's all inside of VC Create. So it's just above the stage here. Feel free to start prompting with us, and we'll make things and start remixing off of you guys' stuff. And then hopefully by the end of it, we're all on a dinner table together having dinner. So that'd be really fun. And if you do have an OC, I want to see them. Post your original characters here, and then later on we'll head on to the Gnarly Studio server. Okay, cool. There's some really fun stuff from you guys already. All right, so let's hop back over to Photoshop here. Oh, that's right. I've had Photoshop open this entire time talking about you guys' stuff. Sorry about that. It's all good. Let's try to actually speed run this a little bit here. This one already has a bit of the collar, so I don't really need to do a lot. I just need to highlight the bow. Make sure I select this, get rid of that little black shape on the edge of this ball here. Get rid of this. And since it's already kind of draped in shadow, I don't really need to worry about being too specific with the in paint here. But I'm just going to kind of generally select this area here. And let's see what it does with just this. Say collar with bell. Just to see what it does with just written, so you guys can see kind of, it may work perfect, it may completely screw up. We'll have to see. It made it very realistic. Oh, look, it even put a bow back on it. Okay, let's do an image Let's do an image reference on this. So I'll hit Gen Fill, and then we'll reference the collar that we have, and then hit generate. It probably would help too if I included less of the general like neck and mouth of the character inside of the image reference, but we're gonna see how well this does with just this weight here. And it did a pretty decent job, but we need to look. It even remade the buckle on there, but real big and weird. So let's do red collar. I see some crossovers going on inside of VC Create. Awesome. That one's super close with the red buckle, but I'm gonna, let's try to like highlight this and select this partially. It's a big stroke that's on this collar though, which I'm not a big fan of. So, because there's not a ton of stroke on the rest of the character here, it'll look very odd to have mismatching line widths. It's what I get called out the most on by people on Reddit, but at the same time, they don't know what to call me out for because they're not artists, so they don't know what it is that they're getting angry about me with. And it's uneven or mismatching line widths are the number one thing. As in, like, one part of the image has little to no line width at all. There's almost no outline, while some parts of it have very thick or elaborate outlines. So let's just say red collar for this because I'm getting a little frustrated with Photoshop's exaggerated marqueing as of lately. I think they changed something without telling me, at least the third update, when it comes to how generous the marquees are now. But you know what? Yeah, let's go ahead and get rid of both of these here. And I'm just going to say red collar from the start. Not even go with the bell, not try to correct anything. We're just going to try to get that collar to be right. I'm gonna say red dog collar, even though it's a cat. It's most likely going to understand it as a dog collar. So that is better, at least with a little bit of realism. It understands the shape of it a little better. So I'm going to come into here, leave that, try to get the edge of this ball. And let's see if it's able to at least understand this. Probably not, but we'll go from there. If anything, again, I could just redraw this. I'm just showing you guys how to do this without drawing. Because I know for a lot of people, they're going to prefer that. So let's try to use image weight on this one instead. Okay. I might try to constrain the image reference down. Photoshop is not good. It's not good at this particularly. It's not nearly as good as Midjourney is at using existing images. So yeah, it did a pretty poopy job on this, honestly. So let's just say red collar with golden bell and try to move on from this one really quick. We might need to say dog collar. Your Discord broke? No. The Discord bot broke. Oof. Okay, so this one's just not getting it. So this will be a very easy fix, actually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my existing button that I had pulled off of one of these, this one here. I had isolated one of the bells earlier, and now I'm just going to drag this onto this bell, place it on top, and call it quits. On that one anyway. We'll even out the ball a little bit here, and we'll put this here. And then I'll just gen right on top of that. And we'll just say that this is a red collar now. It's oftentimes that I'm just genning on top of smart objects, guys. It's really quite easy to do. Oh, I see Lolo soon serving food with Chibi here. That's cute. Okay. And whenever I say dog collar, it especially wants to make that buckle like really realistic, right? Which is understandable. But I'm just going to say red collar, and we're going to try to get it to just match this up. We might just need to not write anything so it doesn't put a buckle there for now, and then we put a buckle later if we want to. I just really want to simplify the neck collar as much as possible. So, wow, okay, yeah, collar is not the right word for this. We're going to say dog collar. Actually, you know what? I'm just not going to write anything because it should have enough information just off of that. Just that I want the red parts to connect. That's all I want it to do. So we're going to let it do that. Oh, that might work. Yeah. Let's see what this did, though. That's pretty all right, but I need to fix this little edge that's here. Again, I do a lot of repairs with Genfill now because it's just super easy. It made me really lazy, but it is something that I am excited to see you guys play with because now it's entirely based on your eye in terms of the quality of the stuff you get. You don't really need to know a lot about shading technique or anything like that, just to get something that's usable or workable for you. I'm going to say this is okay. We're gonna go with this for now. But the thing is that this golden ball is way too bright for the rest of this image here. So I'm going to go into let's go into exposure, and then drop the exposure just a little. Oh, okay. It's because I forgot that I had done stuff on top of this ball. So let me just get rid of what I did on top of it really quick. I'm going to use the masks to get rid of things. So just come into here, click on each mask, wherever there was something where the ball was in front of. So right here, that should get rid of all that. And now I can come in and hit exposure on the ball itself. And we're just going to drop the exposure a little bit so that it is not nearly as bright as we want. We don't want it to be as bright as the character is. Close, but not more bright than the character is anyway. Okay, that's pretty decent. I might need to bring this to the front. Yeah, we'll allow there to be a little bit of shade underneath it. And there you go. Let me hit save on this for now. Okay, let's move on. Oh, we're about halfway there. Halfway there. All right, and we will now. This one already has the ball like underneath it, so I should just be able to come in and now select this by itself. Like so. I want to get rid of this because, again, and whenever you're doing gen fill, particularly, whatever layer you're working on, everything underneath it is going to be referenced, right? So if you don't want to reference something, you put the gen layer underneath the object that you don't want to reference. So for the sake of what we're doing here, though, we want to make sure we reference everything we got here. So I'm just going to work on top of it all. Okay. Let's go through our options here. That one's pretty decent. Okay. So at this point, I'm going to now say, let's highlight about here. If you notice, there's a little bit of the red collar actually in the original image. It just didn't finish the shape here. So let's do a red dog collar. And again, now that I have the bell there, I turned it on so that it would reference the bell. And we can see what it did with the collar here. All right, that one's pretty decent. So now we can just highlight what's wrong with this. We can actually bring the bell up a little higher. Did I add shadows? Yes, I did. Okay. So let's bring the bell up a little higher. Something like that. And let's take a look at her chest line here is a little funky. So I'm going to come in and select all of this. And we're going to see how well Photoshop just kind of generally understands the anatomy here. I don't have Photoshop, so trying to make Shart's character sheet consistent in Midjourney alone has been pretty frustrating. Yeah. Without a photo manipulator, guys, you're going to run into certain limitations. Almost everything you can do within Midjourney's editor, but you can also use GIMP, MS Paint, really whatever you want, whatever has the tools necessary to do this. Just use it. You know, you'll appreciate learning those skills. I promise. And now I just want to kind of find the kind of awkward highlights and stuff that this generated here, and just generally fill in this area here, and we'll see how well this does. I'm just trying to fix her anatomy a bit here towards her collar because it is a little awkward. You can see Photoshop did a great job fixing up the highlight line, everything. It's great. So we'll come into here. Now, it is true that there's always people who are in conflict about this. Some people want me only to stay in Midjourney. Some people only want me to explore programs outside of Midjourney. So I just recommend having the patience to get through this. If you're not interested in Photoshop stuff, it'll be worth it for everything we're talking about afterward, I promise. But what I'm going to do now is, now that I have that gen filled, I'm going to bring up my bell that I had made, and I'm going to now put that up here. We don't need the shadow on it. We've done a little bit of work on that earlier, but we're good. And let's bring that about here. And I will get rid of the buckle for now. You're selling me on a sub. Yeah. I should probably work for Adobe too. Let's go ahead and get rid of this here because this is not working out well. Let me just try to focus on only the buckle. What makes you prefer? Okay, let's see what was asked here. What makes you prefer Photoshop to do these kind of fixes instead of Midjourney? So the reason I prefer doing these kind of fixes is because I get certain tools that I'm very familiar with, just from my traditional graphic design background. I know what all these buttons do. I know what it takes to make something with Photoshop rather than like with Midjourney, like I'm very familiar with it. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, sometimes I just want to be able to like type in my own text or use the burn tool or smudge things around a little bit when it would take a while just to clean up a blur. Things like that, I just do it in Photoshop because I can. But there's a lot of stuff where you can get miles ahead of everyone else just by knowing what's the right mixture of parameters to use, especially with style referencing inside of Midjourney. So we'll probably play around with that a little bit later on. But first thing I'm going to do is I can go to exposure, just drop this a little bit just so that it doesn't dominate the brightness of the rest of this character. Now the thing about this is that the highlight, it will be in the wrong place pretty consistently by doing this, by using this as an asset rather than, redrawing the bell every time. But for now, I think this is going to be good enough for what we want to accomplish, which is just getting rid of the bow, just getting us some consistency in that regard. So, okay, we don't have a bow on this one. The backside shot, by the way, great job. Great, great job on that one. I didn't have to make a single change to that. It's also a great over the shoulder reference. You'll see that on our servers we have a bunch of over the shoulder references for each character because you're oftentimes going to be prompting characters to be like talking to each other, and you need, like, if you think about how a camera shot is set up with two people, sometimes you're setting up the camera over someone's shoulder so that you can see them a little bit, but the focus is on the other character. You're having those over the shoulders to reference is makes it way easier to make comics and to use it for film or animations or whatever you're going to use Midjourney for. So similarly with what we had before, I'm just going to select the top side of this and I'm going to hit collar. Red dog collar. Oh yeah, that's a big buckle that it added there. Let's do the image reference this time. See what it does by combining these two. I see some cute fantasy stuff for my troll for you inside of VC Create right now. I love seeing that. What is Blobby's favorite meal? Oh, look what it did with the image reference. It actually brought together the buckle and the bell. That's really cute. So let's try to just do a quick reference of just this here and see if it kind of patches up the red on its own without writing anything at all. Blobby's favorite meal is yes. It did a great job merging those together. Yeah, that's pretty decent. I'm really not trying to be a stickler here, guys. Again, perfectionism will be a huge burden for you. I highly recommend not being a perfectionist when using any generative AI. It doesn't matter which one you use. It's just keep that in mind that you have to have some freedom to explore whenever you're doing this stuff. So it doesn't really even make sense to go much harder than what we're doing right now in terms of consistency. Because we even have different rendering styles between these images, right? Some of them are rendered in a pretty high definition, like 3D, and like our expressions are going to be a lot flatter. So we're going to have a little bit of some mix and match here. But let's go ahead and grab, now that we got that one fixed, we only have two more to do, and these will go pretty quick. So let's go ahead and select this bow. And like I said earlier about the shadows, guys, it's really, really important to recognize that how much of a shadow this bow has casted onto her neck here. So I want to come in and select all of this shadow that's here and start to envelop like her collar into that, because that's what, the bow is casting a ton of shadow on that. So we want to get rid of all of that and follow the stroke of the bell here. There. And let's see what it does with this without writing anything. I'm going to rely entirely on just trying to make a simpler image here. There we go. Look at that. Without writing anything, it's able to understand just about everything I asked for. Perfect. Okay. This should be great. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about the rest of it. It looks good. And then one more. Nomchi? Yeah, Nomchi. Nomchi. Okay. And again, we have to make sure we select all the shadow on this. Okay. There you go. Probably will not understand it as a collar. We'll see what it does with this bow. I just don't think there's enough information there. Yeah. It recognized it kind of like a shock collar. Let's try to do. We'll try to select a lot of this here, with leaving a little bit of the stroke on the bottom to be like we still want the collar here. Died because of cuteness overload. Yeah, I bet that's why. Oh, I hope you guys are excited for at least for the people out west. I hope you guys are excited to see family. If you don't got family, please reach out to friends. There's always people who are going to be available to hang out with you and stuff if you need it. So just reach out. Go find a third place. Like if you're not familiar with the concept of a third place, by the way, you have your first place, which is where you live. Your second place, which is where you work. Sometimes they're the same place, like it is for me. But your third place is a space that lets you, like, social common space that lets you have that village, that community again. It's really important for your mental health. I highly recommend finding something like that for yourself. All right, let's use this as an image weight here really quick. All three are my computer desk. Yeah, no, that's fine. But eventually, you're gonna want to break out from that. I promise. Okay. Okay, maybe the laundry room once a week. Jeez, I know that feeling. The third place and third space. Okay, yes, yeah. I'm probably the one that's screwing up the pronunciation of that. Yeah, it's probably third space, not place. But yeah. It's still same thing. Same. Yeah. Same thing.
The two places, those variants of it.
Yeah, if I just write dog collar, look, it just tries to shove another collar into there. So let's use the image weight again. And then we're almost done with this, guys. I promise we'll be moving on to more exciting stuff here in just a second. But look at that. Look what it did. Look what it did. Just by using an image reference on that. It did a great job bringing this concept into there. So let's take this one here. I'm going to get rid of that little golden dot here. If Roxy had a sister, this would be their relationship. Hold on, just gotta mute this. It's there's a headless character in the right. That's funny. Okay. Oh, you're gonna be a butt, aren't you, Photoshop? Okay. Okay, Photoshop. You're gonna make me do this the old-fashioned way of using stamp tool. Partially, anyway. And then I'll get really lazy about it like I always do. Now I'm just going to highlight what's inconsistent. Particularly, there's a lot of gradients. Like in generative imagery, it has a ton of gradients in it. So you want to be aware that when you just draw over a generated image, you are not drawing with gradients. You're drawing with a solid color usually. So oftentimes what happens is that solid color just dominates the look, because like you no longer have the subtle shading of the gradient image. You have harsh a harsh contrast to everything. So if you just kind of highlight select around, generally what happens is that you merge concepts, like you merge the gradient from one to another there. So let's actually get rid of some of this here. There we go. And I'm going to just write red dog collar. And it did a better job blending on that one. I'm just gonna leave it at that. That should be fine. And then we'll hit save. Okay. Alrighty, sweet. Now they are much more matchy to the collars that we have above. Okay. So let's go ahead and isolate these expressions that we have up here. That's very, very easy to do with Photoshop. More and more programs are getting smart tools like this. But the only thing I do, because I like to keep the original image as much as possible, right? So this is the original image. I've made it a smart object. And what I do is I just duplicate that layer based on the number of poses I'm taking from it. So this one has 4 poses. So I'm going to duplicate this 3 times, making 4 layers of, of this here. So that means that I can take the top layer and just basically select this character that's in here, like so. Use the Smart Selection tool, grab it, and then marquee it. And then I do that with the next one. I go a layer down, I marquee the character, and you'll notice it doesn't marquee everything, so I have to kind of manually tell it, all right, this is part of the character, this is part of the character, so on and so forth. And it did understand the tail, so I will use a different tool to quick select it, like so. There you go. Sometimes certain highlights will disappear, like they're like highlights in the eyes and stuff. So you want to make sure those are selected. But then we'll also marquee this one. And I have 2 more to do. It's going to save those as 1. So let's go ahead and get rid of one of them from this, like so. Okay. Marquee that. And then one more time. And there we go. Now we mask this. And as soon as I mask that, that's the last layer. And we would normally put a layer behind this just to see if there was any holes or anything that it left behind. But that should be fine. We should be good with this. So at this point, we start to set up our character sheet. This is pretty straightforward to do. Just generally pick poses to be nearby each other that match. So let's widen this canvas a little bit here. And I'm going to put this middle one down here because it matches the cowboy shots that are all here. And then I'm going to stick all the expressions up top because the expressions of the images you guys end up using the most in order to really direct your character into what emotions they're going to have and whatnot. We want to make sure that that's all kind of in one row so we can quickly pick between them. Okay. Let's go for this last one here. I am not going to use this last image here because we're gonna start to get redundancies if we start to use these same images. There's actually a pretty big redundancy that happens with straight arms going down like this. We already have one arm going straight down. If we include another arm going straight down, it means more of our results will have characters with their arms going straight down. So we already have two. We don't want to add a third to that. If anything, we want to start making dynamic action poses with this character, which we will do last. But what we want to do is we want to get that hair fixed into these expressions, and then we're done with this sheet. So at least for now, anyway. So I'm only going to use 3 of these images. So I only need to copy this layer 3 times. Or sorry, 2 times, because I've already got one copy of it out. So let's go ahead and marquee this pose. Boom. Marquee this one. Boom. And then marquee this last one. And sometimes Photoshop will screw up like this because there's too many images, it's too big or whatever. You can actually go into the object itself. Oops. You can go into the object itself and just only focus on that as the canvas, and that'll help you just kind of negate that bug that happens. And then we'll just mask that and save it. Oops, I forgot that I saved that as an object. Hold on a second. I got to hit new smart object via copy and then edit it to add that, to put that marquee in there. The reason I had to do that was because a smart object is consistent across all the other smart objects. So if I affect one of these images, they're going to affect all of them. So I need to make sure I made it a new copy rather than just a copy. So now we have this one. I can hit save and go back, and they'll all still be there. Right. And I'll get rid of the bottom one. Boom. Okay. Boom. We have all 6 of our expressions in a nice lined up sheet. And now the last thing we're going to do is bring these to Midjourney. But I do need to make one little correction here, which is I'm going to get rid of the decal on the shirt, just so that we get a little more consistency out of everyone's generated images, and then we can add the logo onto there later on any images that we're happy with. I feel like that's just going to be a more effective way to use this character. Because otherwise we're going to have to change every shirt design, I feel like. So let's just go ahead and highlight select this. Very quick and easy, just gen fill over it. Roxy trying to eat, trying to eat, what is it? That's a funny image here. Oh my. Okay. Let's finish this up here. So we got
very, very good. Then get back at it.
Oh, did the audio screw up there for a sec? Oh, my mic. Oh no, it's that's my fault. My bad. That was probably something I did. My bad. Okay, this should be fixed now. Good. Yep. Okay, we're good. So I'll hit save here. The only thing I'm doing, guys, is I'm just removing the logos really quick in order to make it so that we get a more consistent character out of this. Just because I do recognize that every time we prompt this cat face from a different angle, it's going to see a face on her chest, and that might screw things up. So I'm just going to quickly gen fill over that, and we'll get a. I know it's Discord if his mouth moves or not. Yeah, right. Yeah. That's funny. Okay. There is something going on with the new marquee tool, by the way. Like, there's something going on in Photoshop that the marquee is way more broader than it used to be. So I'm a little frustrated with that right now, but it's okay. Whatever. I'm just saving every time I change the shirt design, and then we will export these and bring them into Midjourney. There is a bit of a gold, like a blue glow that comes from the back of her shirt here, which is interesting, but it does add some artifacts too. I'm not going to worry about fixing that today. I feel like that might add a bunch of work for us on this particular image, and I'm just gonna allow for that inconsistency for now. Okay, cool. And I know we talked about the red swoop in her hair here, so. Let's try to get these all onto a canvas first and see if Photoshop fixes that for us right off the bat. So let's line all these up here in the center like that, just because I like it to look pretty. Make sure that these images are all separated. It does not matter whether or not there's a white background on them or not. It just matters whether or not there's erroneous data on your characters, as in a bunch of background noise, a bunch of background, bull. We don't want that. We want to make sure that this is just focusing on the character. So we'll hit save on this once I break this down to here and I shrink the canvas a little bit. The reason I'm doing this is I'm trying to make Photoshop have as much references as possible without having too big of a canvas, so that it generally will understand if I select, okay, here, generally select this side of the hair here, and I know that the hair flip goes down to here. I'm wondering if I now select the top layer and don't write anything and just hit generate, whether it recognizes that there is a red swoop in her hair in most of the images and it needs to recreate that red swoop, because the way that it works is that it does an interrogation across your entire canvas and then tries to recreate elements of it. And it'll go by what's nearby it. So we'll go back into here and let's actually mix up some of these expressions. So let's put this one over here and this one over here for now. Put these two nearby each other. And let's try that one more time. Like so. Let's see what it does with this. It started to do it. It added a little bit of red here. Let's see if it finishes it up for us. It is quite incredible what Photoshop will do by inferring based on interrogation alone, which is kind of what I'm hoping to demo for you guys, but that doesn't always work, especially when there's subtle changes in like the there you go. So we started getting more of it here, just a little bit, but we could come in and start to highlight, select all of this. But the thing is that the more I do this, the more I realize I should probably just reference the red and draw it in there. But I want to show you guys what this looks like doing a gen. We'll see if it's able to recreate any of the red here. If not, then I'm just going to draw it in there really quick. And it did not. Okay, so let's skip this. Okay. And I'll add a new layer. Let's try to... Now, it is a bit of a different cut, by the way. It's a different haircut that's on across these. Some of them are bob cuts. Some of them are more wild. But I'm just going to reference the red here and select a pretty decent sized brush. And we're basically just going to follow the hairline here, trying to recreate some of that red, like so. Okay. And then I'll use a blending mode to see if I can kind of merge those to be a little more natural with each other. Yeah, it's a little too dark. Okay. I used a blending mode. Which one was it? I used pin light on this one. And I'm just using the brush tool to roughen out some of the hair here. Okay, let's see how that looks to the others. It's pretty decent, but let's go ahead and duplicate that. And now I will use a different blending mode So let's say dodge color, and then I drop the dodge color until it about matches the same red. It's a little bit more orange. So about here. I'm just very used to using blending modes, guys. Like that's basically how I got my experience with Photoshop, is just screwing around with blending modes until something failed or worked. Right. So I'm basically just going to keep merging with that. And then I will use the smudge tool to bring this back in a little bit and blend these edges a bit, because the smudge tool is OP for doing this particular kind of job, because we just want to generally blur the line between drawing and generative imagery. Okay. Thank you so much for linking the server inside of VC Text, Kinky. I appreciate that. If you want, do you want to do the announcement while I'm finishing up the red highlight here?
I'm feeling up. Hi. And Billy, let's help you learn how to prompt things that you might not have ever thought you'd want to prompt, but you might need to, and just do all the things.
Yeah, do all the things.
Yeah. Just, yeah. I'll be here tomorrow to greet you, and I hope to see you.
Thank you so much for that, Kinky. And I do hope you guys do join. It is worth it, I promise. Prom Battles is a great place to learn everything that you need in terms of like the how other people accomplish the same thing that you're doing. Yeah, it's very, 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 very useful for that. To see all the diversity of different ways people solve their problems with Midjourney. Okay, so I've done it. I have done it. I have re-added the red stripe with traditional painting tools. Oh, I got to make sure that one's on a separate layer. Hold on. Yep, this one needs to be on a separate layer. There we go. And get rid of this. Okay, and this one needs to be pin light, I believe. Yeah, okay. So the last thing I need to do is just collapse these into their own layers here. So I'll highlight select this, making sure that I only select one pose at a time, right click, convert to smart object. And I'll do that to all of these that I have done edits to. So this one needs to be one. And then there's one more. Did I already do that? Yeah. Oh, nope. And convert to smart object. Okay. All right. So let's separate these out so that they're a little bit easier for us to click on later. But the other benefit of making these into smart objects, guys, like actually like saving them in their own folders or smart objects or whatever your program calls them, is the fact that now I have them all as entire layers, so I can quickly select and copy that specific pose or expression very, very easily. So let's go ahead and save this. And we should be good off of that. I will add a white background because we will export this, but we probably won't use the sheet as the character reference. We'll use the individual poses. So I will lock this down. And I will be saving this Photoshop file to Alara's character portal post so that if you do want access to the original PSD file for this, you will have access to it through the Gnarly Studio server. So Kinky, again, had linked that inside of VC text for you guys. Definitely join it and hang out with us. Start making stories and character art with us. Okay. All right, so now that I have this all saved here, I'm basically going to start to bring that into Midjourney here, and I'll just do that inside of VC Create for you guys manually here. So I will take each pose, copy and paste it into into Midjourney here through Discord, and I'm going to do this through Discord first because I'm going to show you guys how to save your character to Midjourney through Discord. But there is actually, it's much easier to visualize the importance of each image through the website. So I will do the real deep dive into this character after we have these images available. So let's go ahead and grab all of her here. Takes a little bit of time to copy and paste all these poses, but you'll notice that the rendering style between this image and this image are very, very different. So we might get some weird inconsistencies, and we may end up getting rid of this image because of that. We'll have to see. Let me just finish copying all of these. There is a limit of 10 images per Discord message, but you can use more images than that on your actual prompts. So we're basically going to just upload as many as Discord is going to let us, which is 10. We have to also include the expressions. So it'll probably yell at us after this expression. Oops. Yep. Okay, so too many uploads. That's fine. So I will hit enter on this, and then we'll refer back to these images in just a moment. We got to make a new post for the other expressions. Almost done. And again, the bell shape is inconsistent. There's a couple of inconsistencies, but it's way more consistent than it used to be. That's for sure. She already did a great job getting this character ready and good to go. But for these little teeny changes, we're going to see some major improvement from it. And we could adjust the color balance between these expressions to make them a little more even, because right now this one's washed out with a little too much red, while this one is a little more evenly colored. It shouldn't matter if we mix these all together, though. We'll see what happens. Okay. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a prompt to make sure that all these images work and they pass the image filters. So there are certain things that Midjourney does not let you use right away. So we might have to remove an image or two based on the image sensors. But I've already tested this. It should work. If not, we'll grab an old version of it and make it work. So we have all of our images now opened up as separate tabs, and I'm just going to copy each image and paste it with a space in between to make sure that it recognizes that these are different links. You cannot have multiple links, you cannot have the same link multiple times in the same prompt. You can have it for different parameters, which is, again, why I'm recommending the website, so you can tell these differences. But we are basically just going to copy and paste all these images into one prompt for now and make sure that Midjourney is happy with them. So let's paste that. Paste that. I've had it happen before that I accidentally included 2 of the same image and then it yells at me and I don't know which image it is. So it takes a second to find that sometimes. So we'll try to get through this efficiently here. And then 2 more is left. So we already know the bell's going to be slightly inconsistent, as in they'll be inconsistent in shape, but that's fine. That's fine. All right. So right now, if we just hit enter, this is going to create an image blend. This will effectively be what Midjourney sees whenever you use a character reference. It just blends all these images together. So it's important to do a blend first to understand what Midjourney is actually using as your character reference. Okay. Because every time you run a character reference, --cref, what's going to happen is it looks at what results out of these 4 images. Okay. But we made her a Niji, and this is using version 6.1, and it's giving her a big white top here. So I'm going to try that again, but this time write --Niji 6. And that should show us a pretty consistent character design. We'll see what it does here. We might need to get rid of the expressions because the expressions skew towards close-ups of the face. So we'll just see what happens when all these merge together. Sometimes just too many expressions will not let the main body of the character be seen properly. So we end up reducing the expressions usually. And then save those expressions for later, because if we need her to be sad, then we just swap out the expression that we used for the sad one, whatever ends up working there. So we'll just give it a moment to fully render. I'm going to take a sip of my smoothie here for a sec. And then in a little bit, we'll check out everything that you guys have done, because I know that you guys have prompted a ton of stuff today that I have not looked at all. I really am curious to see what you guys have done for the feasts, particularly. Right now, we're trying to prompt what is our favorite meal from our original character, for Thanksgiving coming up. Okay. All right. Look at that. Look what it did. Look what it did. It created the character, blended perfectly, collar, red stripe in hair every time. Okay. The tail's a little the tail doesn't have the white bit in the middle, but that don't matter. We'll be able to make that work. That's fine. But the important thing is look how consistent that is. On all 4 results, we have Alara's character now. And guess what? We didn't even write that she is a cat girl or anything. We just blended the results. Okay. That's really important. That's really important right now, because it means that whatever Midjourney is going to see from this is only going to be basically we know that Midjourney's character referencing is going to be what we want it to be. Okay. So now I can hit reroll on this, which I have remix mode on, but I just want to copy all of these Midjourney links. And now we're going to save Alara to our Midjourney accounts. If you're new here, you might be wondering, how do you save a character into Midjourney? Okay. By the way, I'm going to answer Circolo's question here really quick. Circolo, yes, I upload all these to YouTube eventually. If you go to my YouTube channel, which Kinky has linked inside of VC Text, you can find all the streams there. You can catch up as soon as I upload them there. But I do want to show you how to do /prefer, and especially you, Circolo, because I know that as a new user or just someone who hasn't been on the stream before, we use prefers all the time. And that's how we save our characters to Midjourney. So we copy all the Midjourney links. It's important that they're the Midjourney links, by the way, not like a Discord link or a random link from the internet, because if that link goes down, you're not hosting it, right? Or Midjourney's not hosting it. You could end up losing your character because you don't have these files saved somewhere locally. I have everything saved in Photoshop, so I always know what I can, but I've had people upset at me because they go, I didn't know I had to save the character physically on my desktop. So I'm like, yes, just do it. Just save, put it in a folder and save it. But now we have all these links. I'm going to copy those links, and then I'm going to write /prefer, and then you're going to see option set. Let me zoom in for you guys. So we hit /prefer option set. That will let us write a name for our character. So I'm going to hit Alara, as the name for our character, and then hit plus more and add a value for Alara, and that will be all the links. And then I hit enter. The idea behind this is now the only thing I have to write is hyphen Alara, and then hyphen Niji6, because it's I guess for an anime data set. It will replace Alara with those links. This is huge if you want to be super efficient about making your characters pop up like consistently, right? Or at least just be able to generate, like, especially if you're on multiple servers and you just kind of want to fly around, it's saved to your Midjourney account. Okay, so like if I go over to my gaming server and I want to just mess around with some friends, like make a prompt or two, I don't have to copy and paste all these links. They're now saved in my Midjourney account. So let's have Alara do something. So I'm gonna do. You guys are Slashy Ashy versus the Evil Dead. We will be using character referencing right now, but for saving her links, we don't want to do a character reference because we could use those links for other purposes, like a style reference or like a. But you can save entire prompts as your / prefer. Which, for example, I'll show you one of mine. Hyphen tumbling up is one of them, but I made a new one called tumbling up 2, and this saves the entire prompt. So that means that I can instantly pull up a generic prompt of my 2 main characters from my biggest comic series and start immediately re-rolling and remixing those characters together with each other. Now, keep in mind, guys, I know that Michael's gay in my comic, but they will romance the hell out of your characters if you have 2 of them in here like this. That is one sexy sage in the top right. Okay, let's re-roll and give it a different scenario just to show you guys the power of this. But let's just say 2 people having Thanksgiving dinner. Because I've already made a shared character reference with both these characters in it, they will prompt together reliably. Okay, so that now let's do the same thing but with Alara. Okay, so I will write. Let's do serving Thanksgiving dinner, and then hyphen cref, and then hyphen Alara, and then Niji6. Okay, and it automatically does it. It replaces Alara with all the links. We have Niji6 there. Bing bang boom. It'll prompt way faster than before. I highly recommend saving your characters in your Midjourney account so that you can quickly make custom names for them and even your entire prompts. So here is serving Thanksgiving dinner with Alara. And we didn't have to reference her as a cat girl. We didn't have to reference that she's anthropomorphic or any of that kind of stuff. It just is generally understood by Midjourney now because we took the time to clean everything up, In fact, back of cat girl wearing a black shirt. Okay, so you went through and prompted the whole thing collect. That's cool. I like that. I want to show you another really fun way to do that. Okay, let me show you how to instantly create dynamic scenes with your characters. Okay, it's going to be a bit of a cop out, but I love doing it. So you hit /imagine. And then you write, I'm good, thanks, but go ahead. We're going to do animated film. And then, what is it? Depicting 2 people talking. Just 2 people talking. Cref, Alara, Niji6. Oh, you made her a literal cat. Look at her in her cat form. That's cute. Oops, I forgot to set an aspect ratio. So I'll hit hyphen AR, and then let's do for a film is 16:9. So the thing is that in film and movies and such, oftentimes when 2 people are in a shot together, one of them is over the shoulder while one of them is the subject or the focus of the shot. Okay. So with the standard box frame, you can oftentimes get your over the shoulder of your character just with an animated film prompt because you're basically asking to make a little movie. Okay. But if you ask for a wide aspect ratio, you're far more likely to get that result because it has to keep the frame interesting. It has to, Midjourney is designed to create as appealing of an image as possible. So it tries to like balance that stuff out. Let's see what this do with widening the aspect ratio of this. Okay, sweet. All right, so we have basically a humanoid version of Alara and a cat version of her side by side. I've had this happen a couple times before with anthropomorphic characters, that the kind of like neighboring clone character isn't the anthropomorphic version of them, but that's why we have to re-roll and kind of remix this stuff a little bit. But you could see by having two people talking, it's going to shove it's going to try its best to make those two people the same person with character referencing. So what we can do is basically we could try style raw, and that will allow us to get a little bit more of like just a simplified image. It doesn't have as much texturing or effort done behind it on Midjourney's side. Style raw is actually pretty hard to explain. So it's a neat function for people like me who use Photoshop and other tools to kind of create a more simplified or easier version of the image to manipulate later. That's what I use it mostly for. There's probably a better way to explain it than that, but I just basically get less texture whenever I use style raw. And you could see that we're not getting our over the shoulder necessarily, but let's change our prompt a little bit and do animated film depicting two people debating. You kind of have to imagine what shot would encourage the over the shoulder shot. And if we are just kind of gambling like we are doing right now, we could get away with also using an image weight to kind of force a certain aesthetic or certain angle to be for this. So let's see what you guys are doing here. Okay, cool. All right, you can see that we're still getting mostly just profile views and in front, which is useful to have, but I really, really want that over the shoulder shot. So let's try and take an existing over the shoulder shot and force that into the composition here. So you can use any shot from any movie or anything like that to generally try to encourage this sort of result. But let's go ahead and grab one from the character portal here. You're going to see a lot of over the shoulders inside of people's character submissions. Okay. So for example, for Victor here, I actually just uploaded one for him. Right? This is an over the shoulder. It's just the backside of the character. It's all you need to reference that. But I have a couple completed ones as well. So inside of the Sage comics, for example, I post everything here. So if you guys are ever curious about my workflow, how I do things, that kind of thing, everything is here, including some stuff for the upcoming Sage and Michael comic that I'll be posting hopefully soon, hopefully. But I even have an over the shoulder for an old CRT monitor because we use them so often. But I've got a lot of really fun results here. But if I scroll up just a little bit more here, and yes, we are going to go to Blockbuster soon. We have a Sage over the shoulder here, but I have a completed shot too. So let's see a little bit higher. It's one of Vicky, I believe. Right here. Yes. Okay. So I'm going to borrow this shot of Vicky to try to encourage a over the shoulder of Alara. So I'll copy this image here. I'm going to re-roll this animated film prompt here, and I'm going to just get rid of debating. I just want two people, just an animated film depicting two people. That's all I want to focus on right now. But I'm going to include this image in the front of it. Okay. This is going to create an image prompt. It'll basically, this image is considered one part of the prompt, and then the text is considered the other part of the prompt. And technically your parameters are all kind of, let's just consider it a third part, even though they're technically kind of muddled in between there. We have the image, and then we have the prompt itself. Okay. And now I'm going to hit submit. And essentially what we can do is we can now scale the image weight of this result based on how it looks. So we could say we want less of the image, more of the image, that kind of thing. It'll let us be able to control that with a single parameter after we include the image. So only thing I'm trying to encourage here is to get an over the shoulder without asking for, I want the back of a cat girl. But we already have the backside of her inside of our character sheet. So it's not a big deal. I just wanted to show you guys what this process looks like of using image weights to kind of guide the compositions particularly. Aha! We got it. Almost instantly, we got an over the shoulder because we used an image weight to say, hey, I really want this shot. I just really want this shot in particular. And there we go. We got it. We would have to do some in painting on her hair swoop because it's on the wrong side of her face right now. But that's fine. That's minor things to fix. Okay. But look at that. That's all because we included this image on the front of it. Now, if it was too humanoid, we could drop the image weight just a little bit by basically saying, hey, like if I reroll this really quick, the image weight parameter --IW lets you set how much influence that image you included at the front of your prompt has. Okay. By default, I believe it's 1. So we could go up to 3, or we can go as low as 0.1. Okay, so if we do 0.1, it's almost like we didn't use the image at all. If we use, let's say like a really high number, let's just do 3 because I want to show you guys how wacky that looks. It'll do it. It's going to do everything it can to force that image to be as much like the original image as it can. So you're going to see probably Vicky's hair pop out. You're going to see probably you're going to maybe see a blonde cat girl. You might find a cat girl version of Sage by doing this. Things like that are all possible with wacky high over or min-maxing your character weights here, your image weights, and all that sorts of stuff. We'll see what this does. It could also just work. We don't really know. Okay, well, it looks like we got a couple fun expressions out of it, but we didn't really get anything out of it. But we definitely got the art style of the Sage comics coming through to the point where it's basically she's human on the bottom right. You know what I mean? Like it is influencing the image more, but not as much as I thought it could. The important thing here is that by balancing the amount of influence the image weight has, okay, it is a night and day difference on using Midjourney because you can basically hone in exactly how much influence a regular image has. Okay, so let's just say let's make a meme. You guys want to make a meme real quick? You guys want to go viral? We can go viral. Oh, let's do it. The easiest way to do that is to riff off of an existing meme. Just steal from people. So let's do it. We have a couple of memes from you guys already. Inside of the Gnarly Studios server, you're going to find a challenges section. We have a section in here called Make a Meme. Okay. And you can see I did like the Michael Jackson popcorn with my fantasy character. With Vicky, I really like this one from Vicky. So I did the disappointed soccer coach with Vicky and the retexture tool. It's this guy. Okay. So if we just take a meme, a popular meme, we can put any of our characters as the memes. You can see like the kid on the smiling fire kid, yeah. Like and Rhapsody, you guys already saw this inside of VC text, but Rhapsody did "Gotta Go Fast" from Sonic, and just steal from somebody, and then hold on, I gotta show what Rhapsody just shared here. Just big nose Roxy, just steal from somebody. Yeah, sure. All memes are stolen. All memes. I'm sorry. All memes are stolen. Let's find a meme that makes sense for a cat girl, which I will Google offsite for you guys because I'm afraid of what will come up on my search results if I search this. Cat girl memes. Every idea is literally stolen. You are right. It's just a matter. Okay, I won't get into all that stuff. Let's see here. Okay. Yes. Okay. I wonder if this will work. There's this. No, it's 2 images. I want to just find one image, preferably. Okay, way too many of these are lewd, so I'm I'm just gonna copy this one. Okay, let's grab this. I don't want a list of the best cat girl memes. No, don't open this. Okay. let's see what this one does. It may not work. It may work. It may not work. We'll have to see. But I'm going to use this meme here, which is if a cat girl puts on headphones, they have to preserve the ears. I guess that's the joke here. Or they just don't, their ears don't work. I don't know really what this message is here, but I'm going to show you guys how to do this with Alara. Okay. So let's go ahead and use the new editor for this one. Because that's what I did earlier. No, I probably shouldn't use the new retexture tool, guys, because there's not enough of you guys have access to it, and it is. We currently don't have Niji, and this is a Niji character, so I'm just gonna pick one image from here, and we'll work off of that. Okay. Headphones on cat ears on top of head aren't secure and just pop off. Oh, that's the joke. Okay, yes. Okay, I see. Let's go ahead and just use this image then. This one here. Unionize workers. Let's just use this one. Let's just see what this does. Okay. So I'm going to copy this image address. I'm going to find our Alara prompt that we had here. Actually, I'll just make a new one. So we'll hit /imagine and then do --cref --Alara --Niji 6. That gets us all of our parameters. Ooh, this art style looks awesome, Rhapsody. I'm loving this. Okay, all right. Sorry, I got distracted. And I'll include the image as our image weight. And then I'm just gonna say okay, I shouldn't say on or back. Let's see. Let's just leaning back. We'll just say leaning back. And then let's do --IW 2.5. So we're going to basically say be pretty faithful to this original image, and we'll see what it do with that. It does help that I am prompting a cat girl into another cat girl. That does help, at least if to get things to match up right. If we do like, I don't know, like a just like a real person and then try to merge that together, you can get some weird stuff. Okay, so what we're seeing here is the prompt for leaning back is definitely taking over the result that's here. So we have her like kind of like this, like doing the cat paw thing, right? And we don't see her doing that at all with this. And that's because I believe the character reference is super strong right now. And that's normal. Character reference is probably the most powerful parameter out of all of them right now. Maybe chaos is a little more powerful in the sense that it breaks everything, but it sees that it's a meme. You notice how it adds the text onto there. We can even tell it to write specific text, but for now, we are going to try to lean away from the character reference because it is so powerful. It is overriding our image weight, even with it being so high. So let's do --CW, which stands for character weight. And let's drop that really low. We can go as low as 0, but then almost none of our character except for some facial details will be preserved. So I'm going to go really low. Let's go with 20 and see what that does. And maybe just for shoots and ladders, that's the fun way to say it, right? We will try this with the retexture just so we can see how well it does. Even though it's working with version 6, I know some people will be curious to see that anyway. But for now, we'll go with this. All right, let's see what we got. Ooh, Ancient, I really like the one with your hand out here and all like the flowy ribbons and stuff. That's awesome. I love that one. Being powerful and breaking everything. Yes. Okay. All right. Sweet. So now you can see that we do have her leaning back now. We do have her paws in the camera, but it is still heavily influenced by the by the character reference. I think even dropping it to 0 may not get us the exact results, but it is super close because look at this. Now I just got to zoom out a little bit with this one. Her legs are in the same position. Her hands are in basically the same position as our reference here. Okay. So this is how you can basically exaggerate these results to the point where you're wait, was that not even my result? Oh, it was I Troll For You. Okay, I Troll For You did the same thing. He dropped the character weight to 50, but he added his own persona. I get sometimes confused when you guys like work as fast as I do. Okay, that could throw me off a little bit. But look here. Okay, this is rewind a little bit in your heads, guys. Sorry about that. You're gonna have to rewind a little bit. This is the result that I had by dropping the character weight. The cat, we start to lose the cat, right? But we definitely see her legs up and leaning back in all of these results, except for the first one. But the idea with the lower character weight is we can then in-paint our character back in as soon as we have the pose that we want. But I Troll For You showed that even when you run a very similar prompt, you can get away with it here just by using a personalization code or some other parameter. For this one, it's mostly there. We just need to in-paint the corrections, and her ears always grow enormously when you zoom out. Okay, that's just something I've noticed as a pattern with Alara specifically. But I bet I bet Snoopy's familiar with unmanageable little giant cat ears, because that Miss Nameless has the same problem when she's on a close crop. If her ears are cropped out and you zoom out, her ears will just get enormous too. Okay, all right, sweet. So at this point, guys, we have Alara saved in our accounts. We have all sorts of different use cases for how we can use the character reference in particular. But I want to save this now inside of our Gnarly Studios server so that we can quickly have you guys be able to prompt with her too. Because part of the fun of this is the fact that when you submit a character to our server, other people use it and then update you whenever they do. And preferably they update you whenever they make something decent. And so the way that we do that is that we just submit the character in the portal under our accounts, because if we just now hop over to Gnarly Studios here, I got to copy this damn link again. Hold on. Copy link. Is it going to yell at me again? Is it? No. Good. Okay, cool. So now I want to just find Alara here. Okay. And I am just going to include her, I'm just going to include her new codes here as a post so that she has them. Okay. And let's do stream version Alara. That way she has them. And let's see here. I want cat girls with ears on the sides instead of on top of the head. How do we do that? Like realistic cat ears, not neon cat ears? Like this. Okay, yeah. That's going to be like all image prompting, Boken. Like you're going to you cannot refer to her as a cat girl because Midjourney's understanding of cat girls is, it's probably like an elf. I would probably refer to her as an elf, not as a cat girl. That will help a ton at removing the bias of ears being in the wrong place, by society, because they want it to be where the cat's head is, not where a human's head is. Okay, so I have all these codes now saved to the Alara's post here, but every time somebody makes an update for her, it's going to show up inside of her account. Every time. So it's a really fun way to keep updated, because you could go to bed one day and then wake up and someone has made an entire comic with your character, which I did with a couple other people already. If you go to, I believe, if we go back to the character portal here, Blobby has tons of comics now for my Troll For. He's done such a great job. But I made a couple comics with Vic, my fantasy character here. I've done so many with Gnome now that eventually we'll collaborate all that stuff into one. But I made a comic here that I will link for you guys inside of VC Text for you guys, using a monster sort of godlike character that we had made for the fantasy series. It is just it's just one of the many gods that are on our server. Okay, this is Argus, the observer, the all-seer, or whatever you guys want to call him. He just has they have many eyes, and that's their power, right? So they can see through any eye. And so I made a comic where she borrows Vic's eyes, and that was it. Just me messing around with this new character design here. We'll save Argus for the next stream that we do together. It may not be next week. It's probably going to be, because next week I am canceled out. I will be for Thanksgiving holiday. I might pop in if there are any events that happen on Thanksgiving weekend, but I will not be streaming myself. So we'll see next week. But Vic has plenty of like here's Vic and Flora together for a sort of like heist scene that I have planned out for these two. It's really fun. We've gotten some really fun results out of mixing characters. So I hope to see your character there too. Okay, let me open back up Midjourney here. And I am curious from you guys. All the mentions of Alara just make me think of magic. Child of Alara, legendary creature of Avatar. Trample. When Child of Alara is put into graveyard from play, destroy all non-land permanents. They can't be regenerated. I haven't played Magic in 20 years. It's been so long. I don't know what any of this crap means. It's been so long since I played Magic. Okay. So let's do a couple more fun things with Alara here really quick while we have her. I would recommend that we try out a couple of the comic prompts, especially some style referencing using the styles from you guys. So we've made a couple really fun styles together. So let's get Alara back in here. So text prompt allergy convention, text prompt allergy, how I feel every time in this event. What does that mean? What do you mean by that, Collect? I'm curious. Let's do -cref and then paste. Actually, no, we don't need to paste Alara. And then now let's go off of you people hate text prompting respectfully. Oh yeah, no, I'm an image guy. I manipulate imagery, man. Like I try to avoid writing paragraphs of text when there are so many people that are super good at honing all that stuff in. I love image prompts because they do some really powerful stuff that you just cannot do with text alone. But to truly use Midjourney correctly, you need to use all your power, all of the potential. Okay, particularly needing to use. Let's see here. Why waste time? Say what you do trick. I can do anything you can do with an image prompt with only text. Oh. Okay. You want to challenge me then? You want to challenge me then, Collect, with that? Okay. Let's see. What is something that you'll have a lot of trouble? Okay. What is also not going to get me in trouble? Because I could tell you a bunch of stuff that I know that you can't do based on policy, but yeah, hold on a second. I'm going to get back to that for a moment because every idea that I have is probably going to get me in trouble with Ancient. So, yeah, no terms of service breaking, of course. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to you on that. But I think probably the best one for just to get you started with that is I want you to, without using any style references, I want you to make a Sage comic. That's probably the easiest one I could tell you to do. No style references, no character references. Best of luck. And I'll be looking out for your art style particularly. Okay. Can I get a reference of what it looks like? Yeah. I mean, that would be unfair for you if you didn't get that. Let me link you to something here. Hold on a second. Just so you have it. I need to go to my profile really quick here. I'll give you a comic. I'll just give you a comic. How about that? If I see any links in there, though, you're God, I wish that drop wasn't so limited. All choices were great. I see. Okay, here's your reference comic. Okay, you're allowed to, you're just not allowed to actually reference it. But if you can recreate, like really any two of these character interactions that have it be looking like that character or those characters, then I want to see it. Okay. Okay, so let's move on, because I do want to show you guys this, which is inside of here. We want to start to incorporate a style reference. So I am going to grab, I just really like the one that Rhapsody is working with here. So let's just grab hers. Let's see what it is. All right, we have a Chibi Roxy and a Chibi Flora hanging out with each other. This one should work well. So we're going to use this image as a style reference, okay? So we're going to do -- sref and then paste that style reference into there. And we want to do -- because we are working with an anime data set. And now I just want to give a situation. It makes sense to kind of make the situation follow the style reference, okay? But I would recommend having, let's say, something somewhat similar. But we could just say, like, boys, you both are master prompters. Yes, sure. I'm more than curious to see what Collect creates. I'm more than curious. Let's see here. I'm going to say that these two are, let's just, because it's only referencing the style. It's not referencing the characters or anything like that necessarily. So let's just do it in a fantasy setting. Let's just say, what kind of character would Alara be in a fantasy setting? Are you suggesting they prompt battle? Yeah, probably. That would. Let's go for. I'm gonna say that she's. I'm just gonna say that she's a warlock, fantasy warlock. And now the thing is that if you use a character reference as is, without using any weights at all, it's going to be as literal as it can be to your character design, which means that if you do want to interpret what, say, like the fantasy or sci-fi version of your character would look like, or maybe you have a fantasy character and you want to see a slice of life version of them, just drop the character weight. So I'm going to run this one as is, but I'm also going to run one where I have the character weight set to 0 so that it pays attention to fantasy warlock and only really looks at the subtle details of her face. We're probably going to lose her as a cat girl entirely by doing this, but 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, right? So we could see here that with the character weight at default, we just get the character in a bit of a fantasy environment. Doesn't make sense, and with the design and all, but that's what we get. But we do get her style reference, Rhapsody style reference referred here. But now, if we say fantasy warlock with the character weight set to 0, we lose the cat for sure. But we now have, we have a little bit of cat ears. We definitely keep the cat ears. Okay, you guys get your cat ears. But everything else is basically like a slight slightly different interpretation of the character art. So she still has the same proportions. She still has the same, she still has cat ears themselves. Her eyes are the same, but everything else is different. She's vaping off her staff on the third one here, which is kind of funny to me. Just anytime Midjourney messes with smoke, it wants to connect the smoke to other things. So it's like, I always think that the characters are holding a vape pen whenever I see stuff like this. So at this point, I see I Troll For You is taking up the Sage challenge too, trying to match my awkward line art. By the way, that's where you're going to have a lot of trouble, is trying to do the things that I purposely make it hard for Midjourney art to recreate. All your stuff is either going to be heavily overproduced, or it's going to be like this, where it has a lot of anime influence and it's just off in some direction. So, but yeah, anyway, I'm going to move on. So at this point, we have used the style reference to bring in a more fantasy aesthetic into the lower character weight of Alara to make a fantasy version of her. So I especially if you have like a real life photo of yourself, you can do this to like see yourself in different scenarios, you know? This is great for that. Just dropping your own character weight on your own face. So you can see, you know, and if you're curious what, like, you know, if you had a sister, what your sister would look like if you never had a sister, you drop the character weight of yourself and ask for her, for example. Things like that are fascinating as hell to see. But we're going to try to move on and see what else we got. I know that the theme for today was feast. Alara, are you still here? Yes. Okay. Alara, what is your OC's favorite meal? I don't know if you answered that already, but I'm curious to see. And I wonder if anyone else has done any sort of dinner plate stuff. So we're gonna probably end up scrolling up through everything you guys have done next and see what shenanigans you guys got up into. So I won't wait on you. I'll just see if you say anything. I'll start prompting in that direction. But I am going to scroll through what you guys have already done here. And we're going to just kind of comment on those for a moment. But I do need to take a sip of my smoothie here, so I'm going to be back in about 30 seconds or so. I'll be right back. Oh, I'm loving that rap. All good, all good. Thank you, Kinky. And what is it? Yeah, I'm curious to see what Kleck makes. It'll be interesting to see how much of my I say hardened crafted style. I say jokingly because you know, every comic I make is kind of an evolution of the last one, right? So because I'm oftentimes referencing the last comic I made in the next comic, so that at least for the people who clicked follow on me and they get some consistency between my comics, that helps. Wait, what did you guys type for me here? Let's make a meme. Yeah, let's make a meme, and then finger gun point at you. Yeah, this is good. I like that one. Hiya. Yes. But I'm really liking what some of you guys have done. I see where Rhapsody got the nodes earlier for Roxy. Flora is a lot of fun, by the way. I highly recommend messing around with Flora's character, the character Flora from our server. Gompasta did a really good job making her like minimalistic in a way that is really engaging and interesting. Like it's not just it really does help to kind of have a single color palette. Like, you know, like it's browns, it's reds, it's maybe two colors at most, in order to really emphasize that you want to. Here's Flora here. It's just two shades of brown in the skin tone. That with a buckle was just a single, you know, bag around the chest. That's it. Everything else is, like, especially when you start talking about patterns, textures, that kind of thing, the consistency issue really comes into play as soon as you start incorporating those kind of patterns. I highly recommend avoiding things like plaid or like hippie textures, especially will like anything psychedelic is just going to be wacky. It's not going to be consistent. Maybe if you described how it was, then you'll end up in a place where you'll have some consistency. Like maybe you say that it's a tie-dye swirl that starts red and then ends orange or something like that. You might get some consistency with that, but I generally don't see that. But here is the two people having Thanksgiving dinner using the character reference and style reference, but the character weights are set to 0. Okay. And you can see that the character interactions is what I mostly aim for by using a character reference that has both characters inside of it. And if you look at this particular reference, you can actually start to like pull apart why this works this way. I want you guys to notice that Michael is in profile or leaning into the shot on all 4 of these results. And the reason why is because when you look at the actual character reference, that's what Michael is doing. He is leaning into the shot. You don't even see his lower half, but Midjourney can assume, based on this imagery, that he's wearing a suit and tie. That's all we really need to build it out with the character weight set to 100. But when it's set to 100, it's always in an office space. It's always in the environment that shows up. Granted, again, we could write a million words to guide ourselves away from that. But when working with parameters, you really start to take advantage of the diversity that Midjourney can offer you, controllable diversity. So, like, for example, if like I do find it funny that Sage is in this like old timey like prairie outfit on this 4th one. That's pretty cute. She would never wear anything like that. No. But I do find it funny that the way Michael's like kind of like mansplaining how to cut a turkey to Sage. That's funny to me. So let's upgrade that one. And see what we got from there. We've gone through a ton of your guys' stuff, but there's so much of it. Everything that we have is going to be available on our server. I Troll For You does a great job updating the stream content list. So if you go to our server and then click on the stream content channel, you'll find a link to the chat and the prompts that we use. So if you are just wanting to go back and see what we've done, then you can go there right away. And you can see with the dropped the dropped character weights, we're able to set them in any setting. So we have Sage and Michael in as pirates riding hippos. And this came out great. This is a great result that came up because we ran a character weight of 0 on this. So we could see on that prompt here, it was a version 6.1. We didn't even use Niji for this. We ran a really low style weight. This is the exact same prompt that we're working with otherwise inside of VC Create. But this was made because I made a goofy little Sage, like one panel comic that is, we're coming for that booty. And then phrasing is yelled by Michael. I've yet to like post this more than just on Threads or whatever, but it is a cute, fun one and whatnot. And I also find it funny that there's technically Michael's in the position to steer the sailboat like it's a rudder, right, with his hand back here. But then Sage also has a steering wheel up in the front, which makes me kind of think like you give like a child a fake steering wheel to make them feel like they're important, right? Like they're actually doing something. I feel like that's what Michael did with Sage here. Just something dumb like that. But let's see what we did inside of VC Create with this. So we have the Thanksgiving dinner here. We can actually prompt this to be a like a full comic if we wanted to, just by using the editor. So let's pop open the editor here. And here's the Thanksgiving dinner. Let me reload this really quick. We have the Thanksgiving dinner. We can use the editor here by going to editor and then drag out the composition we could start with 2 panels, which gives us the highest resolution possible with this. Is just either do a 2 panel or a 1/3 like this. Let's do a 2 panel. And we're just going to say now multiple comic panels depicting two people having Thanksgiving dinner. And it will most likely, because we have the character reference set to this, it will reference a little bit to this, but the character reference is so powerful here, guys. It could very well be that these are two different entire interpretations of Sage and Michael. So at this point, I also like to start getting rid of parameters because they tend to muddle up the results. So let's just get rid of everything. Get no character weights, no style references at all. And then we'll just hit enter on this with multiple comic panels, because now it's going to rely entirely on what's already in the canvas to make what's left in the image here on the right. So we'll see what it does for that. So we already have Sage, kind of like frustrated with a stuffed turkey on the side there. We have a close-up of her. We have Sage and Michael just kind of like as a two-shot here. But you can see that as soon as we removed all the parameters, it referenced a lot more of what's already in the canvas, okay? So it's very easy for us to go, okay, this is the style, so let's replicate that, okay? And we have like two Sages now standing next to each other. But if I now go, there's one of them that came up. It's pretty decent. So we could make a joke out of this. We could say he's mansplaining how to make the turkey, and then it's a completely ruined burnt turkey, and he's just like, you did something wrong. You know what I mean? But this is me leading into the little more I guess masochistic or misogynist angle with this. But I do find that funny. We could easily just come into here, in paint, burnt turkey in here. Man's satirist. Yes. So you just say, highlight in here, get rid of all this text, and say, burnt turkey dinner. Okay. And if you really wanted to, you can use an image weight to reference what a burnt turkey looks like, and use that instead if you don't really get the burnt turkey aesthetic that you wanted for that. We'll see what that renders as. Probably not going to look great. Okay, yes, it's just food. Okay, so what we would do for this is basically come back into our prompt here, which, by the way, on the editor, you could just hit edit here and go back to whichever prompt you had earlier. But now we just grab an image of a burnt turkey dinner from Google, preferably at about the same angle, with a pretty strong contrast to it, so we can easily tell that it's burnt and ruined and stuff. Let's grab this one here. There's also one of like a lady with a goth turkey where she's like, oh, it's so dark or whatever. But we're gonna grab this one here, and I'm just gonna paste that link inside the prompt here and use it as an image weight, and we'll set the image weight to like 2.2, just a pretty high number, but give it some flexibility there. A character weight of 0. Yes, that's great. That's great. Okay. I do want to show one thing here actually with Alara. I completely forgot to show this with the website because we moved on to the website here. Let's see. There's the burnt turkey though. Look at that. We got a burnt turkey. Okay, perfect. There you go. So now we would just in-paint all the character details to come back using character referencing and call it a day. But yeah, look at what Rhapsody just set above. 0. So let's go ahead and grab Alara here really quick because I want to show you guys something here. So we have Alara's character references here. So let's say use, and then that will basically use them all as image weights. Let's first set these all to character reference. Okay. And I'm going to use a very generic prompt because I want to show you guys the power of being able to organize your images visually like this. So I have everything here set as a character reference, and we'll just say her just to start. Again, we're not referencing her as a cat girl. I don't want any influence in terms of like, anime data set stuff like what a cat girl is, the poses cat girls tend to have. I don't want any of that stuff. I just want it to understand that it's a female. That's it. So the reason I'm doing this is because just having a character reference alone is going to allow you to see all sorts of different art styles that are applied, but it also will change the compositions of each one of these results. You can notice that they lean a little bit towards the close-ups because we have so many close-ups inside of our reference here. But if I now use that same prompt, okay, so I'll hit use, but now I am going to highlight over the top. It's kind of hard for you guys to see. I'll see if I can zoom in for you guys. Okay, yeah, that's much better. So now let's just say I know that I want to get a profile shot of Alara. I want to start with a profile, okay? That means I can find her profile inside of here. I can hold shift and then click on image weight or image prompt here. Now notice both of them are selected here. We have a character reference and an image weight that's been applied here. And now I'm going to hit enter. That's all I'm going to do. I just hit that one button to set it as a to set that one image as not just a character reference, but also as an image weight. Okay. The image weight value will begin to overwrite some of the character referencing and start to provide more of an image that's in line with whatever's in the character weight. So we can now compare these two. And because there are so many close-ups, her head is turned towards the audience, but now we have a shot that's much more profile in terms of her pose, the shape of her, okay? And if I want to encourage this even more, I would set the aspect ratio to match the image that I'm weighting towards. So you see here that I have it set to this. It's a pretty tall image. So let's do AR23 and then hit enter for that. And if I want to encourage it even more, if I want to force it to be profile, but still have a white background, keep in mind, because we're using this as a reference, as an image weight, then I will increase the image weight to 2.5 or 3 or some other really, really high number. And we'll see how these two compare, because the idea here is that you can control the character almost like a 360-degree shot. Okay, so say I want to focus on the backside of her for a looking at the sunset kind of shot. Okay, so I can hit use, find that image that I set the image weight up. I'm going to hit shift on that to turn that off. Right, so now it's just a character reference on that one image. I'll find the one of her backside, hit that reference here, and then I'm going to write a prompt. Very simple, looking at the sunset. And we'll do a wide shot on this one because we really want to get an open shot here. But look at this. By setting the image weight to 2.5, we have forced her to be in this position, to be in this vertical profile pose. Okay. If you notice here, the backside one didn't work as well as I wanted it to. So we might have to start removing images. So if we really want to focus on the sunset prompt here, we can actually start to get rid of all the close-ups from this. So we'll get rid of these because all these are not going to be referred to inside of the sunset, looking at the sunset. So we'll get rid of these, okay? And then hit enter on that. The ability to just kind of visualize all the images that you're using and be able to set different roles for each image very easily suddenly lets us be able to use this as a real tool. And there you go. We have her backside looking at something that's kind of like a sunset. If we now hit use on this and then turn off the image weight there, we'll get rid of the white background that's around the character. And then that's it. That's how you can like more dynamically use your the actual Midjourney, like midjourney.com just the website in general, because I know for a lot of people, they get really confused when they see a massive sea of links all over the place. So just because we were able to force a certain angle by using that as an image prompt, you could see that we still get plenty of her face showing through and whatnot from the character reference. So you might need to balance that your weight is lower. Ass is a real tool. Yeah, it is. Yeah. I didn't want to go there, but yeah, it's there. Okay, so I'll move on from this though, because we could easily inpaint backgrounds at this point. if we did want to have one of these particular poses from the the one that we applied the image prompt onto, we could just basically in paint all the white that's around this character and say, hey, this is a she's looking at, I don't know, like the Golden Gate Bridge or something like that. Just give it an environment or a subject to look at. So why did you go into art? The conversation, like what? If you focus on her backside. Right. Okay. Let's move on. We have burnt turkey. We have for the burnt turkey one, I do want to show you guys how I would go in and handle the multiple characters here. So let's first get rid of the burnt turkey. And then I am going to grab all of Michael's links. I do have him and all my characters saved in a single Word document too, just to make it a little easier for me to copy and paste. It's an alternative to /prefer. But now I have all my characters, or at least have Michael all referenced here. So I can just come into here and start to select everything that does not match Michael, which is most of this, because he's out of character for his outfit. So I'm probably going to go to restore here and bring back the shirt, because the reality is that when you're doing this stuff, you kind of want to be as compartmentalized as possible. So I'm going to only focus on making sure his head matches his character design, and then work on the outfit, assuming that, the other outfit is doable. So let's go for this. There you go. And then I'll just hit submit on that. If I want to give Michael to have a very specific emotion here, the only thing I have to write is that he is... I just have to write what his emotion is here. So let's say that he is full of it and proud of himself. Sure. And then if we do not get the result we want out of that prompt, we can just lower the character weight and go from there and see what those results are. Okay. Collect said, okay, I forfeit. I knew going in that my statement was flawed. For getting specific style, it is indeed more reasonable to use sref. You win this time, Gnarly. Oh, no. I gave you a very, very unfair challenge. I apologize for that, Collect. But thank you. I do appreciate the acknowledgement, though. It is certainly true that the thing is that unless we are able to prompt for specific line weights and specific rules, there's no, like, through verbal instruction, I mean, you will never be able to recreate exact line weights with Midjourney unless you use the style references, unless you use character weights. That's the only way. That's actually why I did to challenge you with that, because like I was like, I know my line weights vary like crazy whenever I don't refer to the stuff. But I would like to stress that no images were used for that image. You did a great job with what you had, man. Like I know that you do great work when it comes to like your prompt skill is above mine. I'm no shame in me saying that, man, because everything I focused on is with like my own art, my own Photoshop stuff. So that's where it all comes from. So this is impressive, though. I do think that you got pretty damn far with just words alone. Now you can use like ChatGPT to like describe the images and try to hone in exactly what it is. But unless Midjourney lets us say, all right, the stroke of the outline of the character is 14 pixels, and then the character in the highlights are 7 pixels. Like unless you're able to get to that level of finessing, then I think style referencing is going to be the only way to go. I mean, it is true that I have challenged other people to this before too, basically saying like, oh yeah, there's a wealth of information that's in text alone, and that's 100% true. So much information, but the idiom still stands true that a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? And we see that no more evident than whenever it is an artist using Midjourney, like a seasoned artist using Midjourney and actually having faith in Midjourney. They immediately start getting hooked into it as soon as they start style referencing their own art. It is a night and day difference.
Video text welfare. About the word the
exactly. Right. Yes. 1,000 words is worth a pick. That's actually genius. Kinky. Good job. That's awesome. let's see here. The problem with using ChatGPT is internal censorship and the fact that ChatGPT has no idea what Midjourney knows. That is true. Rio is completely promptable without images. It is so valuable to me, and that is huge for Rhapsody, particularly. It comes down to like ease of use. Like, it is so much easier to use one of Rhapsody's characters than it is to use mine outside of my skill set. Like, it just simply is. She is giving you way more foundation because it's based off of much more of the Midjourney's knowledge base, as opposed to what I'm doing, which is oftentimes taking pre-existing works and trying to adapt them or make them longer or different or change them up somehow. Yeah, it's just different approaches, and they all have value. They do. Let's see here. Damn you, gnarly. I didn't expect that much of a compliment. Oh my, you deserve it, Rhapsody, 100%. You take so much time to just test things out and keep the logic right on all these things. You deserve it. Okay, Boken said, like, if the ears are on top like this, how come the hair is in front of the ears? Let's see here. Like, I don't know what you're referring to, actually. I'll have to look at what you're talking about. But at this point, guys, let's see. It is almost 7 o'clock. We have the after show that we do on our server where you can come and hang out with Rhapsody and I and everyone else on the Gnarly Studios server and hang out and chat with us. You can use your voice. You can use your mic. You don't have to use your mic. But it is somewhere where you can go outside the Midjourney server and we can just kind of hang out and see what your projects are. If you want some help, like personal help on your projects, come onto the server. Start talking to us. Start asking questions. Alara, I wonder if Alara is that her favorite food is like sushi, because that is really cute. I really like that, Boken. You did a great job with this. Okay, and I just want to take a quick skim through what's left from Alara. She's hosting Thanksgiving dinner, autumn theme, table settings, long black hair with red highlights, styled in a sophisticated updo, green eyes sparkling as she pours wine for her guests, elegant hostess outfit, dining room glowing with candlelight, fall leaves and pumpkins artfully arranged down the dinner table on the table center, rising perfectly plated smoked salmon and turkey. And you'll notice that a good chunk of your prompt didn't get respected at all. But as soon as we write character weight of 0 onto here, everything that you just wrote to reinforce your character is now used. So everything that like Collect was using, especially like both Collect and Rhapsody were both doing, where they're relying more on words, the lower your character weight is, the more their skill sets matter when it comes to the writing of prompts and all that sort of stuff, because character referencing is incredibly harsh. It is incredibly straightforward. She's smoking a cigar. Let's see here. If we come down to where that prompt is, so let's see where the character weight of 0 is. Is this it? I thought I wrote it. Oh, okay. Sorry. It's at 75 right now. So let's do 0. She set it at 75 originally. So it took in about 25% of that influence is from the words, 75% of her design, and the result is from the character reference. And that's not how the math is, by the way. It's just easier to explain it like that. But if I drop the character weight to 0 now, it'll most likely focus on her meal more so than her design. And it did. It did just that. No longer does she have the cat girl face, but she certainly has that dinner, and she certainly has the autumn leaves and all the little details that she asked for in that prompt are fully respected here. And there you go, guys. Well, this has been a super fun stream. I had a lot of fun with you guys. I hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving next week, assuming that you're in the West and whatnot. If you're not, just get fat anyway. Who cares? You don't need a reason. And thank you guys so much for joining the stream today. Thank you, Ancient and Kinky, for co-hosting with me today. No, I really appreciate you guys. And we'll see you guys on our server. She's linked it inside of VC text for you all. So you're welcome to come by, say hey. I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear your voices. Okay. And otherwise, you guys have a great weekend, and we'll well, not next week, but I'll see you the week afterward. Okay. December the 6th is the next time I'm coming back to Midjourney. So see you guys then. Otherwise, I'll see you on the Gnarly Studio server. Later, guys. Bye.